Republican Congresswoman Elise Stefanik to serve as his U.S. ambassador to the United Nations. He called her an incredibly strong, tough, and smart America First fighter. And there's also a new border czar in town. The president-elect putting former ICE Director Tom Homan in charge of the nation's borders and the deportation effort for people in the country illegally. President Biden meeting this week with President-elect Trump. Fox's Madeline Rivera with this preview.
For National Security Advisor Sullivan, the president will go through top domestic and foreign policy issues when the two meet on Wednesday. This is an opportunity for the president to tell Trump where some things stand and get Trump's take on how he plans to handle those issues. The priorities of the White House in the next roughly 2 months include delivering hurricane relief funds, passing national defense policy, and confirming federal judges. Funding for Ukraine is also especially important for this administration. Sullivan is confident that by January 20th, they'll be able to send Ukraine the full amount of resources and aid that Congress authorized. He also says the president will have the chance over the next 70 days to make the case that supporting Ukraine contributes to Europe's stability.
And the Republican there, as the Republican Party was within striking distance now of the majority in the House.
There's at least 20 outstanding House races across the nation. Most are out west. Arizona has 3 uncalled races, and California has the most, including 6 toss-up House races. California Republicans are leading by slim margins in 4 of those 6 contests. As both parties wait to find out if the Republicans will have control of both chambers of Congress following President-elect Donald Trump's decisive win.
And that is Fox's Christina Coleman reporting. America's listening to Fox News.
If your approach to everyday aches and pains is to mask them, feel better for a few hours only to have the pain return and then repeat the cycle all over again, it's time to try Relief Factor. And the good news is Relief Factor makes that easy. Their 3-week quick start is just $19.95, less than $1 a day. Instead of masking pain, Relief Factor helps eliminate it. How? Well, its unique formula of ingredients helps support your body's response to inflammation. Relief Factor was developed by doctors. It's 100% drug-free, and for so many people, the results are game-changing, even life-changing. So give it a try. Right now, their 3-week quick start is just $19.95. Go to ReliefFactor.com or call 1-800-4-RELIEF. That's 1-800-4-RELIEF. See how in a few weeks or even days, Relief Factor can reduce your pain. When you feel better, life is just better. So don't mask pain. Fight it naturally with Relief Factor.
The Morning Extra, only on Extra 106.3.
Morning, y'all. It is a great Monday morning. It is Veterans Day. Thank you to all our men and women who have served this great nation. And we're glad that you're here. 404-741-1230. Rhino and Los along with me. We're all, stretching and popping and passing gas.
That's what's happening. Just trying to get everything loosened up for the week.
Joe's asleep behind the board. Poor fella's been tired all morning.
Sleepy Joe.
He was the OG Sleepy Joe, and I didn't realize that.
Yeah, he said. I mean, he's been sleeping like this for 25 years, apparently.
That's right.
Oh, Sleepy Joe.
Yeah,
Happy belated birthday to the Devil Dogs out there also yesterday,
right.
Marine Corps birthday. So
that's exactly
got to see a few. We went out for breakfast yesterday morning up in the Blairsville area and saw some Marines in there. So we sang happy birthday to them, Erin and I, my girlfriend.
That's cool, man. I love that. And our own Devil Dog here in the afternoon with the Kimmer Show and Joey Jones. I mean, there's just so many great Marines out there.
We had a show last week.
Yeah, so how did everything go on Friday for the Veterans Day golf class?
Take it away, Rhino. Let me tell you, that might have been one of the best events awesome. We've ever put on. It was a wonderful event, beautiful course. Heritage did such a great job. They had the best chicken sandwich, by the way. So if you go down there, go visit the chef down there. He made one of the best chicken sandwiches I've ever had. And he came over from another Kaleidoscope, which was a really wonderful restaurant. Came over there, so they're making some good food. It's a really nice course, but the drinks started flowing early.
Oh, okay.
And, we were paired with Kimmer and Pete Davis, so we were excited about that. And that was a great time, by the way.
Oh, I can only imagine. Pete is so funny.
He is so funny.
He is one funny dude. And I didn't know because I've never worked with him that much. And, we don't really see each other a lot, during the day. And I learned that on election night, how funny Pete is.
Yeah, I now know why they don't put him in front of this white extra banner in the background. That guy is the whitest. You're not even close to as white.
Oh, it's true. Poor Pete, man. I think we were about 11 or 12 holes in, and Rhino had gotten a free towel from the good people over at Harris Cherokee.
Very nice.
And poor Pete was like dying of heat exhaustion, and so I douse it in our cooler, and I come bring it over to him. I think it's like we're like 3 or 4 holes later, and Rhino's like, "Where's my towel?" It's like, we're trying to save Pete.
Man, we're trying to save his life. The man is in danger.
I was willing to give it up. Yeah, he had 2 like threads hanging from his shorts, 2 white threads, and I was like, "Hey!" And then I realized they were his legs. That's how white he was. But
Goodness.
We got Kimmer. Kimmer was up. He was having a great time. He was playing really well, hitting the ball pretty well, and he was horny.
Oh,
very horny.
Wow.
Very horny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I will tell you this, considering for those of you who have played a lot of charity golf tournaments, listen, they put attractive women at the tents. That's what happens. They're promotional people. Kimmer got a number.
Yeah, he did.
No, he did not.
Yes, he did.
I got into my Jewish heritage, which we are matchmakers.
Okay.
And
Just naturally, that's a gift.
Yeah, it's a gift. I don't know, I don't know how to help it. It just comes out of me.
I love that.
My mother's been doing it, my grandmother, everyone, all the way down the line. And so I started earlier on one of the holes. I saw a woman who was a little bit older, not as old as Kimmer, of course, but a little bit older. And I thought, okay, this might be a good opportunity. So I started to introduce him, and this is the Kimmer. He's a world famous radio host, also a TV guy. And she was like, ooh. And then he started, kind of talking, and he ruined that one. That one kind of fell apart on him a little bit, the first one. But
he introduces himself as the Kimmer.
Yeah.
Just say, hey, I'm Kim Peterson.
Yeah.
Let's try to be
Let's be normal.
It's not like you go over to somebody and you're like, I'm the Tug.
Right.
With my arms to my side.
It's like, hey,
call me Tugger.
I'm Jerry.
Yeah.
It's what happens.
That's most of the time. 99% of the time, that's it. So how does it go from there?
The
wheels keep falling off the bus.
We fine-tuned it.
We fine-tuned the work.
We
you
fine-tuned
saved
the work.
this one?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, we didn't save this one.
Okay, so
we moved on.
You fine-tuned Kimmer's delivery. I see. Okay,
Yes.
now. Okay, got it.
Introduce yourself as Kim Peterson.
Okay. All right.
And so we found this beautiful woman. Her name is Michelle. She was up on one of the tee boxes, and she was having a great old time, and she was working for one of the vodka companies. And I was like, this woman looks perfect. And she was happy and cheery. And I said, I want you to meet the Kimmer, world famous radio host. And she knew almost exactly who he was right away. And so we kept talking and talking. I go, he's single. He's single.
Oh.
He's single, ready to mingle. He's ready to go. And this time, Kimmer delivered. He got up there and he's like, hey, Kim Peterson here.
The only thing that he did, as he has
Road guards, post!
as he has the discussion with this very nice lady, I think he approaches everything at this point as he only has like 3 Christmases left.
Yeah.
So he took his hat off just to show.
Sure did.
There's no hair here.
Yeah, this is
And
it.
she's like, yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah.
So
then
I
the
mean,
next thing you know.
so-
is it date night? Did the fireworks blow up?
Well, I'll say this. She handed the card over.
Yeah, what she did was they started talking, and he was like, they started talking about Peanut the squirrel. And then she corrected him and said, well, the real name of the squirrel is, and then told him the real name. And we're filming it. I'm in the cart with Carlos, and I'm filming it. And she says to him, hey, listen, here's my phone number. And this is the card where I work. Give me a call.
Wow.
And so we're in. And then he turned around and he started yelling at us, get the camera off of me.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
All right.
But then 2 holes later, he might have made the biggest mistake, Carlos.
Oh, no.
He grabbed his phone. He called her.
Already?
That's why
You can't do it now?
No, not now.
Hey, it's Kimmer. I only got like 3 Christmases left, so I'm calling you right now.
Oh, and then that was...
I know. Well, I don't know.
Nah.
And I like that.
There's no bouncing back from that.
Rhino said, hey, Kimmer, 2 days.
2 days.
And Kimmer gets into the whole, I don't know if I got 2 days. All that sort of stuff.
And Carlos was smart to say, no, he's got at least 6.
Yeah.
He's got at least 6 Christmases.
That's right.
Trying to prolong
How did
the relationship.
The 6 get cut to 3? 6 was last week. We talked about it.
Carlos fixed it. He told told her, you got at least
listen, he's got
good
6
years.
Christmases. It's fine.
Yeah, so she kind of was into it. Now, I don't know what happened, but Kimmer texted me Saturday, and Kimmer said, hey, do you have any of that video of, me and Michelle? So either it went really bad.
Her name is Michelle.
Oh,
yes. How about
Michelle? It's a beautiful, beautiful woman.
Never can tell. Well, my Michelle.
He definitely would be outpunting his coverage with this one. I can tell you that. She's a gorgeous woman, very smart, very nice. And so, but, maybe something happened. Maybe over the weekend he got in touch with her. They talked, and maybe they're going to go out and grab something to eat. I hope so.
But you do understand why Kimmer's been married 8 times. He does have game. Like, he has a rap. Like, he's ready to go. Like, he's ready with the compliments and the fun and everything else. And I don't know what happens after that.
Well, nothing. That's the reason you're divorced 8 times.
Yeah.
I mean,
sometimes you add to your repertoire.
I guess.
We'd have to get deeper into it because what I did notice is that game does not work on 25 to 30-year-olds. And that's where he tries it the most. Those, like our social media team, they're about that age. Oh, they didn't come around our cart at all.
Poor Bella. He got her early.
Yeah.
He wanted a picture and everything else. And we were trying to do the show live, on location.
And she's a good Republican girl, too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
She was coming to hang with us.
I know. And then nothing.
And then he came over and he made it weird. But, again, that's why you add like 30 years and then suddenly Michelle's like, this is awesome.
Yeah.
You go minus 30 years and the woman's like, this is kind of weird.
Yeah, this is creepy. Get you away from me.
Yeah. But I am more optimistic than ever that Kimmer does have love in his life down the road here a little bit because the man is a good-looking man. He looks good.
For sure, he looks great.
He looks great. And when he was dressed, he had his Marine Corps cowboy hat on, his cavalry hat.
Yeah,
he was ready to go. He looked great. He was dressed in black. He was swinging the club really well. God, he has a beautiful swing. It's too bad he has no muscle. But he looked so good. And Carlos carried our team. I might have had too many of the Tito's. At one point,
that'll do it, man.
They put it like the first 3 holes, they get you drunk, and I was like, I gotta start drinking some water.
It was funny to hear Rhino, like, when he gets the back of the cart, he just goes, oh, man.
That's when you know.
I can't
That's
see
the dead giveaway. Joey, board up Joey.
He's
Okay.
This is the point where Rhino is in huggy mode.
Yeah.
And making sure he's everybody's buddy.
That's great. I love that mode.
I will say this. Joe, I told him that day, this man lost so much weight, and he looks so good. And he wears this loose-fitting clothing. You can't tell.
You wouldn't know.
He looks great when he wears, a Target uniform with, he had the khakis on, the nice the red shirt. And he had it tucked in, and his stomach looked flat. He looked so amazing. I'm like, bro, you need to dress like this all the time. You look amazing.
Yeah. Okay, well, work on that.
Well,
So we got to the CA South hole, and we start chatting with everybody over at CA South. And again, our neighbors normally in the building.
In the building.
They decided to move and have a location over in Roswell, and so we were chatting with them about that. And it turns out one of the guys that's in their business development team is Matt Capps. Now, that might not ring a bell to you. Matt Capps was like an 8-9 year major leaguer. He's a pitcher. And he had pitched with Pittsburgh, and he now does I think he told me he does like 60 games where he does color for the Pittsburgh Pirates. And outside of that, then he's here. Similar like what Fran Core does. Fran Core does like 50, 60 games.
And he's a farmer on the side.
Exactly. So Matt Capps, he works in business development with CA South. There was a point where he just looks over at Rhino. He's like, you need that hug? And Rhino's like, come on, give me that hug.
Get in here. Get on in here.
Yeah, I got a nice big hug. Yeah, I had talked to him earlier. I had not had as many libations at that point. And then he came back around. He's like, you ready for your hug? I'm like, now I'm ready for my hug.
Yeah, it is. We are all set up. Well, I'm glad everything went so well. That's awesome, dude. The best ever is what it sounds like to me, And
great time.
And you missed it, but you know what?
Yep, I did.
You missed it for a really exciting baseball game.
It was fun. My son did not play in the game, but he cheered loudly from the dugout as Charleston beat South Carolina, beat the University of South Carolina 12-11. High-scoring game, several home runs, had a grand slam on the Charleston side. So, yeah, man, it was I will say South Carolina did not throw their big guns. So, I mean,
it's that time of year.
Yeah, they're not exactly. Yeah. They're just trying to get some work out for some of their younger guys, And Charleston did well. And it was because Coach Holbrook, who is the head coach of Charleston, used to coach at South Carolina. He was there he was a head coach for a while, but there as an assistant coach when they won back-to-back World Series there in Omaha. So, I mean, he's a great baseball mind.
And by the way, shout out to Nate with the Georgia National Guard. Also, shout out to Stephanie. The funny part was, as soon as Nate heard Rhino start talking, he goes, "Hey, he's partners with Tug." I was like,
awesome.
So your name kept showing up in different holes around the place.
Very sweet. I appreciate that. That's awesome. Yeah. A great weekend. Sounds like a great weekend for everybody. That's good. I thought we would see a little bit of a liberal meltdown over the weekend when things kind of caught up.
Oh, did we?
Things kind of caught up. Sometimes you don't realize that. I mean, it happened, but it takes a minute to process it all, right?
Yeah.
And then the processing started happening probably about Friday afternoon into the weekend, and dear heavens, did things just go south.
As soon as the white crazy cat ladies got home and sat with their cats all day on Saturday,
yes,
that's when they started losing their mind.
That's right.
And I was annoyed at first. I really was. I was like, these people are just... And then it just got really, really funny. The fact that they're denying an election now, the fact that they're just like... can't understand why no one voted for this woman or why she didn't get the votes that they got in 2020. And everybody's like, yeah, well, maybe they never got those votes in 20. And then they just go off the deep end. It is fun to watch, but this is not going to end either.
It's going to be a long period because if you go by the 7 states of grief, all right, they are beyond, first one, shock.
Yeah.
All right, so shock happened that night, first 48 hours. They haven't reached acceptance yet. They're not even into depression because they're still fighting.
Get to acceptance? I don't think they'll ever get to acceptance.
Yeah. But as of right now, they are in the middle of denial and anger.
like women cutting their hair.
Oh,
that's the one. I feel terrible
4B.
for these women.
Oh, I stepped in that over the weekend.
Yeah, this is the 4B movement that, we kind of talked about it Friday, and I was telling Carlos, was it Friday or Thursday? It might have been
Thursday. Yeah.
It might have been Thursday, and I started noticing that all these women are telling us that they are no longer going to have sex with men. They're no longer going to have babies, and I'm like, this is the best win we could have had so that we can eliminate abortions in this country. Do not have babies. Number one. Number two, don't procreate. We don't want any more of you.
So
how did you step in it?
Yeah, I stepped in it. So here's how this happened. So this plays out this way. So my wife, when it comes to being she's not a consultant, but she's a researcher with a major firm. And when that firm, when companies, basically, and when they reach out to her group, they're like, how do we market to Gen Z? And so she does generational studies, finds out how to market to individual groups. Gen Z being the predominant one that all these companies want to know, how do we get them on our cruise line? How do we get them on our stores? And I brought up with her over the weekend. I said, yeah, did you see this whole thing about these women cutting their hair and acting like they're not going to have sex with anybody? And she's like, no. And I go, well, how do you not know? I mean, it's your business to know.
That's what you do.
And I go, have you noticed the 4B movement? I mean, it's kind of your business to know this stuff.
Right.
And that was the moment when you could see her face turn beet red, I'm going to kill you. Now, her company was talking about it from the South Korean thing, the 4 no's, because that's the way they did it. We're doing it as the 4B. But yeah, she immediately turned into, don't you try and explain my job to me. I'm like, well, you voted for her, so I'm just trying to keep you abreast with this stuff.
I love it, dude. And then how the rest of the weekend go?
I'll tell you what, you know what?
Yeah, did you buy her a vacuum too?
I had my 13-year-old daughter who was doing the performance.
Which was awesome. I saw the pictures.
It was so cool. That part was really great, and all that did was that at least it dampened down her anger. My wife is going to probably vote for J.D. Vance in the future. I firmly believe this.
Oh, good.
And because she's very impressed with him. She's listened to the podcast, everything else. But she's still one of those ladies right now. She ain't going to cut her hair. She might cut me off, but I don't know. But I'm just saying, it's like she ain't going as crazy as some of these other cat ladies.
That just means more football, buddy.
That's exactly right. I got time for you,
and
man.
basketball.
That's
I ain't got time for you.
I got things to do. I tell you about it. We're going to talk about Kamala Harris's one pick that she made, and it turned out to be a complete and utter disaster. Next on Extra 106.3. The legend Neil Bortz is only on Extra 106.3. Hey, it's Tug, and here's what you missed from the Talkmaster.
The urban culture of violence, and nobody talks about it. Civil rights leaders, no. Law enforcement, no. Politicians, no. The number one cause of death among young male blacks is young male blacks.
Catch Neil's commentary every day on Extra 106.3 or listen anytime on the Extra 106.3 app.
It is below 60 degrees this morning. I had to wrap up, had to bundle up, had to turn on my seat warmers. Matter of fact, I used the seat warmers all the way home from Charleston yesterday. My mother-in-law couldn't believe it. She was like, "Are you not burning up? Are you not sweating like crazy?" I was like, "No, I'm quite comfortable. Back off. You pay attention to your seat warmers and lack thereof." Central Heating and Air Conditioning, if you want your home to be comfy and toasty warm, they can hook you up right now. $2,000 off with carrier rebates. The best in the business, working with the best of the business at Central Heating and Air Conditioning. Guaranteed to get the best deal possible. And they want to thank you for trusting them with your heating and air conditioning, home performance needs too, all year long. If you'd like, this is something that we did, and I encourage you to do it too, especially if you have allergies in the home or someone with allergies. They're ready to test the air quality in your home for your house health and your family's health. So get a hold of Central Heating and Air Conditioning at 770-GET-HEAT or go to their website, centralheat.com, to find out about all of their services. And plus, it's Veterans Day. They always give a military and teacher discount, not just today, but especially today. Central Heating and Air Conditioning. Call your Atlanta carrier experts.
Get ready for unfiltered conversations on The Janelle King Show, where we tackle the topics that you won't hear at your family gatherings, but they're absolutely crucial for a strong republic. Don't miss us live every Saturday at 3 p.m. and every Sunday at 9 a.m. right here on Extra 106.3. But if you can't tune in, that's okay. You can catch new episodes every Tuesday on the Podcast Park or wherever you prefer to get your podcasts. Join us for these discussions, and I can't wait to meet you there.
Modular and offsite construction is booming. If you're an architect, building engineer, supplier, developer, or contractor, you can't miss the Offsite Construction Summit, coming to the International Convention Center in Atlanta on November 20th. With the rising cost of traditional building, modular and offsite construction is changing the way companies build. It's quicker, cheaper, and offers a faster ROI. So don't miss the Offsite Construction Summit, coming to Atlanta on November 20th. Register today at offsiteconstructionnetwork.com. That's offsiteconstructionnetwork.com.
Hey there, I'm Tara, owner and publisher of Our Town Monthly, Cobb's premier lifestyle magazine, where you'll find familiar faces, local voices, and community businesses like Truffles Vein Specialist.
Hi, I'm Holly with Truffles Vein Specialist. We have 5 locations across Atlanta, and even better, our West Cobb location is able to offer same-day appointments right now. We're proud to have been voted Best of Georgia in health and medical time and time again. We specialize in diagnosing and treating DVT or blood clots in the legs and venous insufficiency. If you have leg pain, swelling, heavy or achy legs, bulging varicose veins, spider veins, or pelvic pain, reach out. We'd love to help. We accept most health insurance plans and many treatments are covered. Plus, we offer free vein screenings at all locations. For more information, call us at 678-833-1444 or visit trufflesveinspecialist.com.
Wow, Holly, sign me up. We just love our advertising partners. And remember, our town is your town at Our Town Monthly.
We're all back to busy schedules this time of year, school, work, everything else that's coming up. Hey, the holidays are around the corner. Don't let car trouble add to the stress of your day. Before you start putting all of those miles on your car, CarShield, America's most trusted vehicle protection company, wants you to consider one of their plans. Now, they provide plans for owners of new cars, high-mileage vehicles, or vehicles with expired manufacturing warranties. A broken AC unit can cost you up to $3,000. A broken water pump, $1,400. Are you prepared to pay out of pocket for repairs in this economy? CarShield doesn't just offer affordable repairs, they also provide jobs for 1,300 Americans. And they're here 24/7, keeping you safe on the road. Call CarShield today. Get your free quote and 20% off at 800-227-6100. As we head into the holiday season, save yourself from major repairs. Get a free quote and save 20% now at carshield.com/Beck. 800-227-6100. 800-227-6100. carshield.com/Beck. Coverage varies by plan. View contracts and exclusions at carshield.com.
The stories that matter to you. These are your Georgia headlines. Presented by RBM of Atlanta, your Mercedes-Benz connection since 1964.
Good morning. Here are your top stories in the state of Georgia for today, Monday, November 11th. Happy Veterans Day. A Cumming drugstore that has been serving the area for over 70 years caught fire late last night. The Goodson Drug Company erupted in flames around 7 p.m. and firefighters responded with 11 units to contain the blaze. Battalion Chief Scott Kennedy said the firewall inside the store likely helped prevent the fire from spreading to other buildings. The cause of the fire is still under investigation. Authorities are searching for a man involved in a shooting late last night at an off-campus apartment complex near the University of West Georgia. The shooting occurred in the parking lot of the Reserve Carrollton Apartments. The victim was rushed to the hospital where he succumbed to his injuries. The shooter escaped after abandoning the car they were driving and fled on foot. Law enforcement is continuing the search for the shooter. And in sports, the Atlanta Falcons fell to 6-4 on the season after the New Orleans Saints snapped a 7-game skid to beat the Falcons 20-17 yesterday. Young Hoku missed 3 field goal attempts for the first time in his career in the loss. With your headlines, Scott Rhino, Trump 106.3.
Morning Extra on Extra 106.3, Tug, Rhino, and Front Office Los. The one choice Kamala Harris got to make was her VP. And what a lousy choice she made.
When Tim Walz was selected, we all talked about how, man, we dodged a bullet. Josh Shapiro would have been so much of a more problematic pick, and it would have been so much harder to win Pennsylvania, which Donald Trump ends up winning. But you look back at Tim Walz and you just kind of shake your head and say, okay, the first time they gave Kamala an opportunity to make a pick, that's what she did.
The dumbest pick probably in political history was Tim Walz. And, we talk about psyops all the time. One of the biggest psyops is having to dress a man up to make him look like a man, because that's what they did. And then he comes running out on stage, flailing his hands, kicking his leg out, and men are going, that's the man, that's the coach. And then he throws out we can run a defensive pick six.
She runs a mean pick six.
And he's supposed to be a football coach. It was a disastrous pick, but I think it goes to the bigger story, which is what Kamala Harris did was she got trapped in her own party, and she did not want to divide her party. So the idea of, a lot of our party hates Jews, and they're out in front of colleges.
It's a big fight right now.
And they're protesting. So I am in a spot where I don't want to alienate them, but I also don't want to alienate the pro-Israel Democrats. So I can't pick Josh Shapiro because I don't think I can win with a Jewish candidate. Let's go with Tim Walz. That was the hugest, as far as I'm concerned, that's the biggest mistake she made.
But add this in there, Rhino, because I think that you are on exactly the right track, and it's kind of made me ponder this too. When you say you're captured by your party, you're stuck in this position. Mark Kelly would have been a really solid pick, yet that represented the Obama portion.
Yes.
And she looked at it as like, I'm trying to be my own person. I'm not going to go and get because that was all the reports, is that Barack Obama wanted it to be Mark Kelly, that Mark Kelly should be your running mate. And so, I think at some point you get ideologically captured by, I'm within my party. I can't take the Jewish guy because of the act of war with Israel and the Palestinians. I don't want to take Mark Kelly, though he probably is going to be one of the better options because that's Barack Obama's guy. And I won't get anyone that comes across as a threat to me. So I'll take Tim Walz.
Yeah. Yeah.
Weird situation.
That wasn't the only one either with Tim Walz, right? She got caught between the transgender issue and women. At one point you're saying, hey, I don't want to get this small group that we're pandering to upset, but at the same time I don't want to upset women.
Let me get a lady man.
So now I've got to get a lady man. Yeah, this is a weird.
You're right.
So mothers and women were saying, you're trapped in your party. You're catering to progressives and you're trying to cater to a moderate. And in every situation, whether it was Ukraine and spending the border, again, she didn't want to offend certain groups, but she also couldn't say she wanted to close the border. Every single thing that she put out there as a policy, she was trapped in her own party.
One of the things that I go back to, you can make the argument that you can see J.D. Vance outshine Donald Trump in aspects of what he does. As much as the Joe Rogan interview was great with Donald Trump, man, it was 3 times better with J.D. Vance.
Yeah.
Like, I liked it that much more. J.D. Vance does outshine Donald Trump on certain aspects. It felt like Kamala Harris was never going to allow that the same way that Joe Biden was never going to allow that, the same way that Barack Obama was never going to allow that. And so if you just want to talk about if I've got a team and if I got a vice president that's a compliment to who you are, Walz was never going to be it. J.D. Vance is much more of a compliment.
Oh, yeah. J.D. Vance is a huge compliment, and a lot of people were sitting back saying, oh, God, this guy talked bad about Donald Trump. I don't know if he's going to be a good pick. But that showed a unity in the party saying, hey, we're worried about the border. We're worried about the economy. We're worried about interest rates. We're worried about an American dream and being prosperous here in this country. And they kind of came together, and it showed unity. And that was a big fear for the Democrats, and it should have been. But they never adjusted to it. Again, she lost Pennsylvania because on one side she's saying, let's get rid of fracking. And then Pennsylvania's like, whoa,
hold on a second.
Time out.
Did you just say let's get rid of fracking?
So then she comes back and again, held captive by her party, says, well, no, I am kind of for fracking. She could not give a definitive answer on any issue or policy which divided her party, and it cost her this election.
Yeah, there was just quite a bit of number of missteps that went through that entirety of that campaign. And again, we're the beneficiaries of it. We get to sit back and laugh at it and say, okay, that was really well done. But it's still, when we get a chance to, as we talked about yesterday, the body's on the slab. Here's the autopsy. And it's not just one thing. You know, there's probably about 15 things you can point at and say, that was a misstep. That was a misplay. I heard Dave Smith, the comedian, on Joe Rogan. I was listening to yesterday, and he brought up a really good point that we exploited on the show, but we never talked about. We would talk about how funny it was to see Kamala Harris giving the same speech with the same mannerisms, the same emphasis on the same lines, and they would do a montage of like 9 different ones, and they're all the same. In the era of social media and the internet, you can't deliver the same speech over and over again. You look robotic and fake. And that was something that the Trump administration and this team took advantage of, because obviously Donald Trump's going to speak extemporaneously and jump off the prompter. But because he does that, you couldn't nab him on the idea that he's a robot.
Yeah, absolutely. The guy is so far from being robotic that you almost want him to be a little bit more robotic.
Stay on the prompter, man.
Stay on the prompter, deliver the issues. You've got him right. Kill him. And then he goes off topic and you're like, yeah, but that's why I like him. He is just out of bounds sometimes, funny. He's really making me enjoy this, and he can make people sit for 3 hours and listen to him go and what he calls the weave. And I thought it was great. On the other hand, you have Kamala Harris repeating the same line. Well, I grew up in a middle-class family. No, talk about the economy. Well, I grew up in a middle-class family. That was just a complete failure. But again, she is a puppet. She's part of a puppet regime, and she was an installed candidate. It's nothing that we didn't expect.
I think that her team was largely running a campaign from a decade ago. Mm-hmm. That's what was going on. She was running a campaign that probably makes more sense in 2012, 2016.
Yeah.
2024, it was not going to work. And so when you get behind that podium and you say, never again, never again, he's never going to be the president again, and you say it the same way with the same emphasis in every campaign stop.
Yeah.
And now they've montaged it all into like 12 different versions of you doing the same hand movements to the same. It looks like you are a robot and you're totally fake. You're a synthetic. You're pretending to be a charismatic person.
Yeah, Donald Trump comes off as a guy you want to go and hang out and you want to go play golf with Donald Trump.
Sure, I wanted to make fun of my swing.
Absolutely. You want to have fun. You want him to, nice drive. What's that, 20 yards behind my ball? You want that. But that's the thing. Kamala Harris played the game that you're still supposed to be offended. And I think Americans, and I don't care how old they are, maybe up to, like you said, maybe the baby boomer generation still has a little bit of it. But Americans don't get offended by your words anymore. Americans don't get offended as easily anymore. They want someone who's going to fight for them, and whatever technique it takes to make their life better, they're going to start to gravitate towards them, and that's what they realized with Donald Trump. People are freaking out today because Hamas said, yeah, we're looking for a ceasefire. Donald Trump's president. Now. We need a ceasefire now. Hezbollah said the same thing. We don't want any part of Donald Trump's presidency. We're looking for a ceasefire. We're done. The only one who stood up and said, well, we're not going to change course is Iran. I guarantee you, sooner than later.
Oh, he'll bleed them out with their money. That'll be the game.
Zelensky's already afraid.
Yep.
Putin's already afraid.
And you know what? And let me readdress that, because I don't think it's fear, Rhino. I really don't. What I think it is recognizing that you had an administration that is going to be out in January that had no problem fueling the fires of war around the world.
Yeah.
And now that you know this next one doesn't, suddenly everyone's like, well, I don't have the gasoline for this thing, so we look for a ceasefire. It's almost like they were enabled to do the very worst things that they wanted to do moving forward. And now that they know that the money and the arms are not going to be there, now suddenly it's like, not afraid. It's, well, I guess we're done with that.
Zelensky called how quick?
Yeah.
How quick did he call?
The day of.
He knows he can't win the war. He knew he never had a chance to win this with Russia. He needs a ceasefire. He doesn't want to annex land. I can understand that. And that's a fair, opinion in a lot of ways. But he still needs to be that buffer zone and not join NATO. It's that easy.
And Putin doesn't want to deal with, he knows what the economic pressures that this administration coming forward would put on him. That's why he's the same one talking about, we'll just get this over with.
Well, he wants to be able to, look, Putin wants natural gas to be served to Europe, knowing that he's the largest supplier of natural gas. So if you come in and say, we're going to take away your pipelines and we're going to take away everything you need to get natural gas to that area in Europe, not to mention, let's talk about wheat. Let's talk about the exports that Russia has more than anything else. The problem with Biden's sanctions and their misstep was, we're going to take their yachts. That's not what Putin's afraid of.
Not afraid of. Guess what? Vladimir lost his yacht last week.
He's afraid of tariffs.
Exactly. He's afraid of the economic scenarios that could be put in place. That's why I think a lot of this, outside of the mullahs in Iran, because they's crazy and you can't really negotiate with them, I think the whole war footing that so many of these countries were on, they're recognizing the warmongers in the United States government are on their way out.
Yep.
And so now if it's all on us, well, that ain't going to work. I mean, just think about it. One of the first things that went on is for a group that is so concerned, the Biden administration is so concerned about the environment, you blew up a pipeline and caused a huge... Oh, sorry, they were Ukrainian separatists, whatever. We blew it up. Joe Biden told you we were going to be able to blow up that Russian pipeline.
Yep.
We're the ones who did it. We were the ones who had the capability. These are the sort of things where if the Russians don't have to worry about this, it's much easier to get peace in that region when you're not messing with my wallet, the Ukrainians aren't messing with the war machine. All right, everybody done. Everybody settle down.
Yeah. And it's that easy to do. That's why when Donald Trump comes out and says, I can end this in 24 hours, the minute I get a chance to sit down with both these people, I believe him, because he did it before with the same exact ideas. We're going to sanction the exports that you need to export in order to feed your people, to take care of your people and to create an economy, not take away oligarchs or the elite stuff. Do you think we would stop if someone took Kamala Harris's $50,000 necklace? No. She'll keep running around talking and doing her thing. It's not about those things. This is something that would really destroy Russia. This is something that if Donald Trump went into Ukraine and said, hey, if you guys don't think about certain situations, you guys don't calm down your rhetoric, you're going to be hurt even worse because they have the same exports they want to get rid of.
All right, let's finish off this segment by talking a little bit about RFK Jr. and a study that has been out for the better part of a year. And what that study found was that the mass use of fluoride can lower IQ points. That was what was found within this study. It was a lowering of IQ within the sample group if they were exposed to large amounts of fluoride. All right. RFK Jr. is talking about, hey, this whole thing about fluoride in the water, this is something we need to examine as a potential problem. And to watch the amount of people within the healthcare industry, which, by the way, the United States We have the largest amount of chronic disease in the world, and we are not willing to say, hey, maybe our healthcare system and our matter of how we take care of people or how we promote public health, maybe that's a little bit wrong.
Yeah, it is extremely wrong.
What are we feeding people?
Yeah, I find it really funny that the same activist groups and the same Democrats that have been fighting to remove high levels of fluoride, okay, there are two things at play here, first of all. Number one, we have all sorts of toothpaste companies that now actually put in the correct amount, a lower amount of fluoride in their toothpaste. You don't need it. So the reality is, when you look at the high levels of fluoride they introduce into our water supply, it is actually dangerous. Water already has natural fluoride. You don't need any added, especially if you're brushing your teeth with toothpaste. But the all-time distraction was, well, low-income communities can't really afford toothpaste.
So we'll put the fluoride in the water. It'll take care of their teeth.
How insulting. Once again, another Democrat idea and strategy that, if we remove that, this is poisoning America's water supply. RFK Jr., a Democrat, this is what Donald Trump did and said. All these healthcare issues, I want you to be as liberal as you want. Go as progressive as you want on it. Do the things that you want to do to help fix this environment. Make sure we have good, clean drinking water. Make sure that we are making sure the FDA, the big pharma, all of them are not taking advantage and abusing the American people and making them even sicker. But you're not going to touch gas and oil. What a great way. And then again, that shows how open this party has become.
We have a good family friend of ours, and their son has committed to play sports over at Air Force. And you start recognizing how difficult it is to even get into a service academy, let alone the military, because 70% of our young men have something that gets rid of it, whether it's whether they're obese, whether they have some long-term health condition, maybe they're asthmatic, maybe it's the eyesight. It's something that eliminates about 70% of our young men from service. So you got to start asking the question, what are we doing from the very start all the way to the point where some of these young people are 16, 17, 18, where they're grossly overweight, they're unhealthy, they're on medications. Like, at a certain point, you have to say, stop surrendering to big pharma.
Yeah.
Like, let's reimagine healthcare in this country. And that's why I couldn't be happier that there's going to be a guy like RFK Jr., who I completely am willing to listen to anything. All right. Whether or not 5G causes cancer, all right, up for debate. We'll have a discussion.
Yeah.
Wi-Fi is this. All right, up for debate. We'll have a discussion. But a lot of things when we're talking about food and additives and medication, I think that's all on the table.
No doubt about it. It's unbelievable. And, I mean, you're seeing it in my hometown of Dalton, Georgia, where they're talking about the drinking water up there. And it's good. That's a discussion they should be having. They should have had that discussion 30, 40 years ago, and I'm glad that they finally are. All right, giving in. Talking about giving in. The real reason Kamala Harris did not do the Joe Rogan podcast, neither side would give in. Next on the Morning Xtra, Tug, Rhino, and Front Office Los until 10.
Hey, it's Flounder, and the Kimmer Show is live every afternoon from 3 to 6 p.m.
You don't accidentally misplace money for Ukraine. You don't accidentally release billions to Iran right before they start funding wars. Trump is fighting against the people who have the ability to manipulate everything we see and hear. If you're still supporting Trump amidst one of the greatest indoctrinations in history, congratulations, you're smarter than they expected.
The Kimmer Show, every afternoon from 3 to 6 p.m. on Xtra 106.3 and the Xtra app.
Millions of guys suffer from erectile dysfunction. That's 1 in 4 men. And I can tell you, I'm one of them.
If you or someone you know suffer from ED, Peyronie's disease, or PE, here's 38-year emergency room doctor and founder of Total Body Therapy of Georgia, Dr. Eric Deal.
Patients who enter my office are often frustrated, hopeless, depressed, and embarrassed. I understand the problem, and I'm going to help you fix it. There are lots of competitors that don't have the credentials that I have. When you go to other clinics, you're not going to see a board-certified physician with the experience that I have. When you come to our clinic, you're going to see me. There's just not one therapy that can solve these complex issues. I'll do a complete history and physical prior to any treatment that we use. Take it from me, Dr. Deal. When it's not hard, it's really hard.
Call Dr. Deal for your free one-on-one evaluation and resolve your ED, Peyronie's, or PE issues. Total Body Therapy of Georgia, 404-777-1911, 404-777-1911. Online at stopmyed.com.
I know it doesn't feel like it right now, but the cold air is coming fast. That means a couple different things to me and you. Energy bills will be rising and company coming over for the holidays. Dan Watkins here with all Four Seasons garage, entry doors, and windows. It's time to get your house ready for the winter air and your holiday visitors. The good news is that we have you covered for every opening in your home. So call us today to set up a free estimate with one of our amazing sales consultants. They'll help you pick out the perfect garage door, front door, and windows for your home.
What's up, Atlanta? It's Ben Burnett, host of the Weekend Ben Burnett Show. Each and every weekend, right here on Extra 106.3, we unpack all the week's events. We talk about all the issues with a local Atlanta-based flavor. You can catch me each and every weekend, Saturdays at 2 and Sundays at noon. If you ever miss an episode, you can go to the podcast park or wherever you download all of your content, and I'll be right there. Thanks for listening to the Ben Burnett Show, proudly brought to you by Butler Snow.
As the year comes to a close, now is the perfect time to evaluate your estate plan to protect your hard-earned assets from the high tax rates. Nelson Elder Care Law is here to help you keep your assets secure for future generations. As a family-owned and family-focused business, our mission is to exceed your expectations, offering absolute assurance and peace of mind. With our expertise in customized estate planning, Medicaid planning, probate administration, guardianship, and conservatorship, we protect what matters most to you. Schedule a free legacy planning meeting today to discover how we can help families just like yours. Don't let the government decide how to spend your money. Contact us at 678-250-9355, 678-250-9355. or visit NelsonElderCareLaw.com. Nelson Elder Care Law, your partner in asset protection.
This is Jonathan Geller at D. Geller & Son Jewelers, where this weekend we're inviting you to our Takori holiday event, where you can shop an extended collection of engagement rings, wedding bands, and new fashion jewelry, all handcrafted in the USA. Takori's collection includes new and trending designs, classic styles with a signature touch, and incredible matching wedding bands. They're fully customizable, so you can try on all your options and have your dream ring handcrafted in time for a holiday proposal, all with the help of the expert team at D. Geller & Son. As always, we have the best loose diamond value in Atlanta, and we'll have an incredible selection, plus jewelers on site to get your new Takori ring ready on the spot. To make it even more special, you can get up to 24 months 0% APR financing, or up to $1,000 back in Amex gift cards. Just like the holidays, this amazing event only comes once a year. So come join us at our Takori holiday event, only at D. Geller & Son, Atlanta's most trusted jeweler since 1939. In Atlanta, Kennesaw, and Sandy Springs. RSVP online at dgeller.com.
The Extra 106.3 app is your live connection to the station, streaming free across Georgia. But it's also loaded with all our original shows and podcasts. Listen to exclusive shows from Janelle King, Ben Burnett, and so many more. Grab the Extra 106.3 app now and start streaming.
There's so many reasons that Kamala Harris could not do the Joe Rogan podcast. There was no chance she was going to be able to talk for 3 hours and have anything to say. I mean, she never spoke and had anything to say. So for 3 hours, that would be a major, major struggle. But there were more reasons that she did not do the podcast. And as a matter of fact, Joe Rogan talked about them specifically.
There was a few restrictions of things they didn't want to talk about. But I said, I don't give a f***. I go, get her in here. Like, whatever you want to talk about. And they want to know if I edit. I'm like, there's not going to be any editing. There's no editing.
Yeah.
We're not going to edit. But...
yeah, that's the same thing they asked us. Is there an edit? You know,
I just wanted to talk. I feel like you give someone a couple of hours and you start talking about anything. I'm going to see the pattern of the way you think. I'm going to see the way you process ideas. I'm going to see whether or not you're calculated or whether you're just free.
Yeah.
Or are you comfortable with you, or are you projecting things?
That is the reason. I love the fact he was like, sure, I'll even let you choose the topics, but we're going to talk about them. And then he and Theo Von both got the same thing.
Yeah.
Is there editing? Because they got it at 60 minutes.
Well, that's what she's afraid of.
Right, of course.
She's afraid of the fact that she will be seen as exactly what Joe Rogan said, a process of thinking that looks so empty. She's an empty vessel. That's why she lost this. It's not because she's a woman. It's not because of the color of her skin. It's because she did not relate to anybody, nor did she give anybody a reason to vote for her.
So it's the first time that I really listened to Theo Vaughn was when he had Trump. And the second time I've listened to Theo Vaughn was when he was on Rogan. All right,
He's
first
terrific,
off,
isn't he? Isn't he amazing?
He is a moron and he's hilarious.
But
in a fun way.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not detrimentally.
No,
like
you're right.
His lane is, I'm dumb. I know I'm dumb. I'm going to keep it really simple. And so to hear him echo the same thing from Joe Rogan, where Joe basically makes it to his podcast is, we might talk about aliens, we may talk about national defense, but we're going to do it in an intelligent manner. Theo Vaughn is, we might talk about, I don't know, cake. Okay. And
Or
yet
when
both of them were told the same thing.
Exactly right. You're 100% right. You cannot ask her, or I guess we want the restrictions on topics, and we want you to be able to edit. We want you to, when we go in and say, nope, she didn't say it right there, we want you to take that out, have her recut it, and put it right back in the way that 60 Minutes did. And everybody's like, no, we're not doing that. We're not willing to, Rhino. That's the thing. Yeah. We're not willing to manipulate our listeners into believing you said something that you didn't.
Yeah, the mainstream media may be able to cover for you in every aspect. You've obviously worked a deal with those liberal outlets to do your bidding, but not everybody wants to do your bidding. People actually want to hear how our country is going to move forward with a leader. You're supposed to be able to speak to foreign leaders. You're supposed to be able to do a State of the Union. Are you able to do that without editing it? That's a problem if you cannot. So we want to hear you, see you for who you are. You're afraid to show us who you are, so why would we vote for you? Why would we have you on a podcast or have an interview with you if you will not show who the real person is?
She said, all right, Joe Rogan said, I'll do it at 9 o'clock in the morning. I'll do it 10 o'clock at night. I'll do it at midnight. I'll do it whenever you want to do it. I will work around your schedule. You just come here to Austin and we'll do this. And still, they knew they couldn't put her in front of Joe Rogan.
This is going on for the better part of 2 weeks, where every single guest that Joe Rogan has wants to talk to him about what their experience was with Kamala Harris reaching out to them, or what his experience was. So it was interesting to hear Theo Vaughn, who now, both guys obviously having gotten a chance to get time with Donald Trump, but both them talking about that same concept of, we just want to have a conversation, and we were told you can't just have a conversation.
That podcast that you're talking about that came out on October 25th with Donald Trump on the Rogan podcast, 47 million views on YouTube alone. 47 million views. You want to talk about the nail in the coffin to mainstream media like CBS, like ABC, like NBC. No one is going to give them the time of day anymore, except Aunt Peg. She's going to be there. She's devout. She'll go down with the Titanic. She'll be standing on the Titanic saying, yeah, we're going to save this thing.
She's shaving her head.
Yeah, shaving her head.
Screaming about no more sex with men.
My God.
If I've learned one lesson, all these people are losing their mind, and they really are. I mean, it's become a really bad mental illness. It seems like this mind virus has really attacked some of these voters. They will go to MSNBC because they'll feel safe there. They'll feel a safe space because they'll have delusional people also saying, I'm not sure if he actually won this. We need a recount. We need this. So they'll go to those outlets that have also gone down that path of, hey, we've got that woke mind virus just with you, so we're going to keep programming to you. The View didn't change anything over the past, the 3 days. It was as bad or worse than ever with their delusion.
I just remember that when everything happened in 2020, like, I had my own opinion of stuff, and I'm not a big person when it comes to taking part in any kind of network news or anything else, but I didn't shy away from it. I just went, all right, so show me the carcass and let's figure out what happened there. And it didn't take me very long to go, I don't really think this election was very legitimate. And even though I stopped right there, not everybody did. That's why you had January 6th. All right. I wonder how far these people are going to push this, because what they did is, rather than go to, let's say, Bill Maher and be told, here's how you lost, or a handful of other people, David Axelrod, here's how we lost. Jon Stewart, here's how we lost. They're going back to their corners of MSNBC, and they are lapping it up like cats to milk as far as, oh, no, you were cheated, and oh, by the way, here's how you got to get back at these people.
Do you suppose, and I don't know the answer, this is more of a rhetorical question, I guess, but Do you suppose any of those people like Jon Stewart and Bill Maher and even David Axelrod realize that the party that they were a member of does not exist? It is dead in the ground. And where does that leave those people? In my head, I'm still trying to figure that out because I don't know the answer.
I think there are a lot of common sense moderate Democrats who are looking, saying we should never have let the progressives take over this. They were the loud minority. We talked about it, the tyrannical minority that took over this party. And I think a lot of common sense Democrats are being real quiet today. They know the outcome of this election. They got the message from the American people that, no, we are not going to allow you to just cater to these small groups. And they're trying to figure out, how do we do this next time? Because they know within 2 years, Donald Trump is either going to secure another 4 years for J.D. Vance, or he's going to completely fail. If he doesn't get things done in 2 years, that's going to be something that will come back to haunt the Republicans. So they need to regroup now, and I think a lot of them are.
I think so, too. I definitely think that the 2 years that they have with the entirety of the government, they are going to move mountains. And it is going to be a bumpy process, but you're going to get what you voted for the first time in, 50 years, maybe 40 years, something like that. One leftist understands that historic Trump win. The rest of the left seems completely confused by it, as we discussed. We'll continue that discussion and let you hear from them themselves, the ones that get it, the ones that understand it, after the Fox News update on Extra 106.3, the Morning Extra. Tug, Rhino, and Los until 10. Hey, it's Tug. The Morning Extra has you covered from 6 to 10, and Kimmer's got you on the ride home.
Oh, you're going to like this. We're going to have more politics here in a minute, but I don't feel like talking about it. You're going to like this. This is from DeGingo or some freaking thing, some Gmail thing. Flounder and Pete, I thought you would like this. My wife and I went to a shop a little late yesterday, and so we listened to you on YouTube from the start. My wife said, "Are you sure that's today's show? He's told that story before."
That's every day of the show. That's called Birthdays and Histories.
What an optimist.
Are you sure that's today's show? He's told that story before. I just looked at her. And then, he's told that story before. Maybe like 8 years ago.
The Kimmer Show, every afternoon from 3 to 6 p.m. on Extra 106.3 and the Extra app.
You know the old expression, I love it when a plan comes together? Well, with our First Liberty Notes, this has been so true. Hello, I'm Brant Frost, founder of First Liberty Building and Loan. You hear about our family's company all the time right here on the station. For over 30 years, we've been the local lender who said yes when the big banks say no. A couple of months ago, we opened up our First Liberty Notes program to Main Street investors just like you, and the response has been just incredible. Folks from airline pilots to physicians to even pastors are now earning 8 to 13% interest rates while helping to fuel the growth of local small businesses. If you're a qualified investor with a minimum of $25,000, you too could be earning 8 to 13% interest. We'd love to have you join our First Liberty family today. Go to FirstLibertyGA.com and see if our First Liberty Notes are right for you. Go to FirstLibertyGA.com. That's FirstLibertyGA.com.
First Liberty Notes are not obligations of or guaranteed by any financial institution and are not secured by any collateral. They are not FDIC insured or guaranteed by any government agency. You could lose money. SEC accredited investor status must be verified. Securities not offered in any jurisdiction in which it is unlawful.
To understand what makes Diamonds Direct so different than other jewelry stores, you have to go back 60 years, when a diamond cutter became well known for his exceptional craftsmanship. His diamond cutting business flourished for decades. Then his sons got involved and started selling these exceptional diamonds to upscale jewelry stores here in America. After a few years, these wholesalers decided to change the game and started selling these precious diamonds direct to the public at the same prices they had sold to the jewelry stores. The no middleman concept became an instant success, and Diamonds Direct was born. Today, Diamonds Direct provides that extraordinary value to people all over America, leading the industry with the highest quality diamonds that still come straight from the best cutters, offered at the guaranteed best prices, period. Diamonds Direct, a truly revolutionary concept with a unique history, rooted in quality, committed to excellence, and always focused on value. Proud to call ATL home. Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion.
No one plans on going to jail, but at A Second Chance Bail Bonds, we believe everyone deserves a second chance. That's the driving force behind everything we do. If you or a loved one has been arrested across town or across the country, you need help now. A Second Chance Bail Bonds works fast with bondsmen throughout Atlanta to help expedite release within hours. A Second Chance. It's better to know us and not need us than need us and not know us. Call A Second Chance 24/7 at 404-BAIL-OUT. That's 404-BAIL-OUT or online at atlbail.com.
Tune into your new favorite show that's redefining the A to Z's of marketing, The Marketing Mad Men. We'll take you behind the scenes of successful campaigns and reveal the strategies that win. We're not just talking about marketing, we're making it happen. From viral content creation to leveraging AI for customer engagement, our experts bring you to the cutting edge of industry. This is your playbook for market dominance. Tune in and transform your approach with actionable tips that could skyrocket your ROI. The Marketing Mad Men every Saturday at 4 p.m. right here on Extra 106.3.
WFOM and W292EV Marietta, a Dickey broadcasting station. This hour is presented by Van Sant Law, vansantlaw.com.
Choosing key members of his inner circle, CJ Papa, Fox News. 70 days until Inauguration Day, January 2025. President-elect Donald Trump and his transition team filling up his cabinet. Fox's Madeline Rivera has more from Trump.
He made this announcement on Truth Social last night. Tom Homan will be joining the Trump administration in charge of our nation's borders, the border czar. There is nobody better at policing and controlling our borders. Likewise, Tom Homan will be in charge of all deportation of illegal aliens back to their country of origin. Trump also shared this news with the New York Post last night. Trump told the Post, "I am honored to nominate Chairwoman Elise Stefanik to serve in my cabinet as U.S. Ambassador to the United Nations. Elise is an incredibly strong, tough, and smart America First fighter."
The new Trump border czar, Tom Homan, appeared on Fox Business before the announcement.
You concentrate on the public safety threats and the national security threats first, because they're the worst of the worst. So it's going to be the worst first.
Yeah, but what about the cost? The American Immigration Council, a nonpartisan advocacy group, estimates it will cost taxpayers more than $300 billion, giving Congress a role to play as some newly elected lawmakers appear ready to assist. The plan faces legal and logistical challenges, as governors in some Democrat-run sanctuary jurisdictions say they won't cooperate. Even before the new administration begins to undo Biden-era policies, a federal judge in Texas threw out a recent attempt to legalize illegal immigrant spouses of U.S. citizens. DHS telling Fox it is deeply disappointed, adding the plan is grounded in well-established legal authority. Fox's Griff Jenkins. It's Veterans Day. The White House says President Biden, Vice President Harris will take part this morning in ceremonies at Arlington National Cemetery, where the annual laying of a wreath at the tomb of the unknown soldier will take place. America is listening to Fox News.
If your approach to everyday aches and pains is to mask them, feel better for a few hours only to have the pain return and then repeat the cycle all over again, it's time to try Relief Factor. And the good news is Relief Factor makes that easy. Their 3-week quick start is just $19.95, less than $1 a day. Instead of masking pain, Relief Factor helps eliminate it. How? Well, its unique formula of ingredients helps support your body's response to inflammation. Relief Factor was developed by doctors. It's 100% drug-free, and for so many people, the results are game-changing, even life-changing. So give it a try. Right now, their 3-week quick start is just $19.95. Go to ReliefFactor.com or call 1-800-4-RELIEF. That's 1-800-4-RELIEF. See how in a few weeks or even days, Relief Factor can reduce your pain. When you feel better, life is just better. So don't mask pain. Fight it naturally with Relief Factor.
Hey, gang, it's your old friend Neil Bortz. You can catch me every Tuesday morning here on the Morning Xtra. Now back to Tug, Rhino, and Carlos on Atlanta's only conservative news and talk station, Extra 106.3.
Morning, y'all. It's 404-741-1230 if you'd like to jump in the conversation that we've been having this morning about... Does the left realize how crazy they actually are? Like, do they realize that their party, well, at least for moderate Democrats, doesn't exist anymore? That party is dead and in the ground. And you're seeing, like, people like Jon Stewart and Bill Maher, and people recognize it. So do you wonder if everyday Democrat voters are noticing those things? I'd have to think yes.
Yeah, I've talked to a lot of common sense Democrats, that's for sure, and they even see it now that, yeah, they know why she lost. They know that she didn't give enough reasons to vote for her. A lot of them do. But they also recognize they are overrun with people who are delusional about what really happened and are really upset. And they think, a few of them I talked to said, no, these people are always like that. They're real emotional. They'll calm down. No, they won't. They don't calm down. They take to the streets in New York yesterday. They're running around protesting. They're breaking things in Portland and Seattle. They're starting fires. It's the same violent left that we continue to see. There are many liberal Johns out there that kind of probably sat back and go, man, I wish we didn't lose, but we did, and we're going to move on. And no, there aren't going to be internment camps. No, they're not going to assassinate people. No, we did take out whatever he said. That's the game of politics. You will take out of context your opponent and use it against them any way you can.
So when I look at women cutting their hair, saying they're going to shave their head and physically doing it and showing the videos on social media, like that kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Like it makes me go, at least partially there's maybe that's just the edges, right? Maybe those people in the middle are more. But then I see this morning in the New York Post, how Columbia University plans an anti-Veterans Day protest, I guess you call it. And
way to put it out there.
Yeah.
They're going to honor martyrs.
Oh, okay.
That's what they're going to do. Martyrs instead of the war machine who are our veterans.
It's 30%. It's 30% of the Democrat Party are absolutely off the rails
That's a big
crazy.
number, though, dude.
It is. And, I said it, and you're not going to get this as much as Carlos would. I said this yesterday. The fun part about what we're seeing with some of these people melting down, it's like being at the Christmas play at Arkham Asylum, and they're like, hey, we're going to put on this Christmas play. That's what this is like.
The crazy people that are doing crazy people things.
Is that in a movie, though? One of those
Arkham Asylum is basically in the Batman world. Okay. That's where you send the crazies.
That's where the Joker goes, the Riddler goes, all the
Penguin and all them fellas.
All of them are in Arkham Asylum at one point. Then they come out and they do damage to the cities they live in.
Yeah, and man, 30% is such a freaking huge number that it just makes me question whether they can get themselves in any sort of position, even when guys like Jon Stewart or Bill Maher or whomever, David Axelrod, that we brought up in the last segment a little bit, the fact that they recognize it, does that move them? And I don't know the answer.
Well, here's the fun part. They're all being left behind. They're the only ones that are speaking sanity to their party. And yet, the more sanity you speak to the party, the more you're basically being told, la, 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 I don't want to hear it.
Like a child.
Yes, very much so. And so what is the backlash? Well, the backlash is, hey, it's Veterans Day. Let's have a Martyrs Day. So basically, you've taken your frustration, you've amped it up by 10 times and thought, what will offend regular America even more so? This is your response to this being beaten?
Yeah. No, I think it is. And it's funny because you see, 40% of young women, Gen Z women, voted for Donald Trump, so they don't fall into this category anymore.
And by the way, that's a plus 11.
Yeah,
that's huge.
Huge number that they thought they were going to get with just the abortion discussion. And most women, at least 40% of them, were like, yeah, that's really not us. It's really not the only thing that I'm interested in. But again, I fret. Fret's not the right word. I'm concerned, or I'm baffled by how many people are like, let's just rub it in their face how much we hate them still.
We should be concerned because it's not us. It's their own party that has made them deranged in this way. It's their own media, The View, MSNBC, that has spread lie after lie about dictator, day one, suckers and losers, Charlottesville, fine people. They have programmed these people to think the man is Hitler. That has not changed, and you're not going to be able to break that. They're not going to get red-pilled anytime. They're far gone. They need to, and I think Democrats right now are sitting back. That's why you're not seeing a lot of these leaders leaders like Hakeem Jeffries, they're not even catering to them anymore with any of the things that they're continuing to say. They're not catering. Have you heard anybody going, this is number one of Project 2025 except for the real crazy people? No. Those leaders have even backed off of Project 2025 because they knew that was a political ploy to get people energized and emotional about voting.
This is totally delicious. And the reason why is this. And the reason why we won is because Xtra and so many other outlets out there, predominantly the podcast and some of the mainstream media, but a lot of independent journalism out there that has grown in popularity, we were speaking to regular people regularly. That's what it was. They stopped. And the fun part about it, when I say delicious, is they've now doubled down on, well, we're the elites. We only speak to the elites. So let's keep talking to the elites and let's double down on identity politics. Good. Enjoy. You should be thinking to yourself, what did we get wrong? And their only response is, well, let's double or triple down on what got us here. What we're wrong on.
And when the person in the party that sounds the least crazy is the socialist?
Yeah.
Bernie Sanders, when he said these people are not going to learn from their mistake. They're not going to learn. Nancy Pelosi and a ton of other people are, out there screaming from the rooftops, we are the party of the working people. Mm-hmm. The working people disagree with you.
Yeah, they sure did. In record numbers, they disagreed with you because the working people didn't vote for you. See, they get this thing that all of a sudden these union bosses are the working people. And just because the union boss is politically motivated to pick a candidate that happens to be Democrat, the vote, that doesn't mean the workers are going to. But they've been way gone from the working class people. Nancy Pelosi, all of them, they're more afraid of what Donald Trump is walking into, which is a White House with classified documents that will open up everything that they've done to try to politically interfere in this election. That's why they're freaking out right now, and they'll continue to freak out. But see, Nancy Pelosi is on her way out. A lot of these people are on their way out, and they're going to lose power, and that's what they're afraid of. The reality is they know that Donald Trump's economic policy is strong. That's what he spoke about. He spoke about issues. That's why he won. The reason that what Carlos said is true. We discussed those issues. We talked to people about how they worked, and then we took apart what the Democrats said and said, nope, what they're doing is lying to you. And the common sense is kicked in, and Democrats know that.
Here's what I enjoy. You've had the irrational Democrat, the irrational communist. Their response to being beaten isn't to look in the mirror, take a look and see what they're doing and see what they're talking about. In fact, their response has been, well, just wait till your grocery prices go up and then see how you feel about this.
Okay.
And it comes back to, how do you think we got here, Bato?
You're right.
Seriously, how do you think that we got here to the single biggest election win since the 1980s? It's because we already lived through all of this stuff that you created.
Yeah,
100%.
It's that easy. It is funny to see them say, oh, wait till they put you in a internment camp. Okay, I'll wait. I'll wait. You know what? You keep waiting for that too. Crazy. Because, and I'm not going to bookmark all these ridiculous people that say these things, but it would be nice to be 4 years down the road going, yeah, none of that happened. You're still okay, huh? They didn't put you in a camp, huh? They didn't kill all the gay people in the world like you thought they were going to do. All the ridiculous, over-the-top things. You might as well tell me that Donald Trump has hired every single alien to come down and take over this planet, because that's how ridiculous you sound to me right now.
404-741-1230. Slatoon has an idea about these people, these crazy people, especially the ladies that are shaving their head, that are cutting their hair. I saw it so many times. I bet I saw 10 or 15 of them. What about you, pal?
Well, instead of shaving their head, if they want to really, really make a difference, and everybody knows, I'm talking about everybody will know their cause, they don't need to shave their head. They just need to stop showering for a week or month, and they stop using deodorant.
Yes, that's
a clear message.
That's right. Absolutely.
I think they've already done that.
Have you been to a college campus?
I stood a little too close to some of those.
Those people that are protesting Martyr Day and protesting against Veterans Day, there's not one of them that shower or wear deodorant, I promise you.
I go to enough music festivals to know that they do not shower and they do not shave anything.
One of my favorite memes that I've seen that has been going around Twitter. So you know how Disney remakes everything, but when they live action it, they make sure, all right, Snow White is now black. And you're like, all right, cool, whatever, you're reimagining everything. The funniest part was the Disney remake, and it has the woman from 2016, the one who's known for laying on the ground and screaming her head off. And then it fast forwards to 2024, the black woman who's in her car screaming her head off, and it's like the Disney remake. It's still the same madness. We just made it black.
Right. But there are a few of them, like Jon Stewart, though, that kind of get this, Los.
Yeah, Jon Stewart actually surmised this pretty well. The guy who was able to take a step back, who, by the way, has been making fun of this entire election process, surprisingly pretty well balanced as far as going after Trump and also making fun of the fact that you're putting up a woman who hasn't gotten one vote, and this is what you're trying to push to me. Take a listen to Jon Stewart as he surmises what went wrong.
We were prepared for all scenarios. And each one of those scenarios, it was, how is Donald Trump going to finagle his way back into the way? How is he going to use undemocratic principles? What measure of intimidation and underhanded shenaniganery will this man use to worm his way back into the Oval Office? And it turned out he used our electoral system as it is designed. And in that moment, I thought, well, I'm not sure we have a team of lawyers for that. I don't know if we have a team of canvassers for that, which, by the way, I don't ever in my life want to hear about. Our vaunted ground game will put us over the top. It's a 50-50 toss-up race. We're sure of it. But the vaunted ground game, turns out that people knocking on other people's doors doesn't get them to do what you want them to do. As I believe vacuum and Bible salesmen probably have known for many, many centuries. Me. I was wrong.
Van Jones also had a really good point from CNN. He said what occurred was Donald Trump turned every phone into a reason to vote for him in terms of how many podcasts, how many interviews, how many ways you could listen to him. He's like, so we're knocking on doors. Meanwhile, he's doing one interview and it's going to 50 million phones.
Yeah, and not only that, he is also doing something that they didn't realize. And what he talked about, especially at the Atlanta rally when he was talking to Mike Johnson, was, hey, we got that little secret, right? And it's going to propel us to the White House. That secret was tele-rallies. I got like at least 3 phone calls from Donald Trump, obviously not Donald Trump, but, that I answered that said, hey, Donald Trump is having a tele-rally. Listen to what's going on. And he did this every single week. So when they said he wasn't campaigning, he was. You just didn't know about it because he outsmarted you by talking to the American people, and people who didn't even like him picked up and said, I got to hear what this lunatic has to say. He reached so many people, so many women, so many people who were on the fence probably, that when he gave you the issues and what he was going to do and had that opportunity to talk in your ear, it worked.
In the time it took for Democrat canvasser to go knock on 10 doors, he'd already spoken to 1,000 people.
Easily spoken, if not well more.
And this goes back to 2016 when he used Twitter, X, in a way that bypassed the media and got in front of the people. They just did it differently. And so Jon Stewart's right. He's like, we're busy talking about our ground game. Brother, you got beat because the Republicans changed the game.
Which is so funny because Republicans are usually so far behind. But I feel like people like Elon Musk, Vivek Ramaswamy, RFK, those people understood the need to do it, Rhino, and how to do it. And Donald Trump was smart enough to give him credit. I don't think it was his idea. But he was smart enough to recognize the people who did have the good ideas.
Yeah, it was Susie Wiles. That's why she's now the first female, by the way. I know. And that is what the game plan was. We need to get out. Why do you think the Democrats were so vigilant in trying to shut down X? They knew how he was going to get out there. They knew that they set up the fact that he was not able to get any good media coverage. They knew what they did to try to silence him, and they knew he was going to go to X with Elon Musk, and they knew what was going to happen after Ron DeSantis used it. And yet they still failed to be able to get on there because they're so afraid, and none of the people that they want
they
to hear.
it.
Yeah.
Like every lib I know doesn't use Twitter, now called X. They don't use it because they hate it, and yet it didn't matter. It actually propelled.
They were busy, and this is where you want to talk about completely missing the mark. For every time that you had Donald Trump go on Theo Vaughn, and they looked at it as, just as I do, Theo Vaughn's a moron. He's funny. He's a moron,
Really
though.
funny.
He's a common dude moron,
Yeah.
okay? Now, that's going to do 20 million views. They're busy thinking, if we just pay Oprah $1 million,
Which they did.
if we just pay Beyonce $5 million, look
did.
at what the reach is going to be. And as it turns out, America didn't give an F about what the elites told them.
It's exactly.
You know what they cared about? Moron Theo Vaughn doing an interview, okay? And I love it. You can say, like, well, it downgrades everything. No, it made it so simplistic to have a conversation between a guy that you went, well, he's been president. He might be a little crazy. And here's a dude. He ain't the sharpest knife in the drawer. Might be a little crazy, but it's a common conversation.
Yeah, it's entertaining. And it speaks to anybody. If you're an elite, if you're some sort of Harvard professor, you can listen to it and understand it. And if you're everyday American, you can listen to it and understand it. It spoke to everyone. Al, what's up, man, at 404-741-1230?
Yeah, guys, I'm an everyday American, and I hope I'm going to say something that everybody can understand here. I want to congratulate the liberal women out there and their transformation from fighting against insurrection to fighting erections, from Tim Walz to blue balls, from election interference to erection interference. Way to go, ladies. Those are great ideas. They're going to power America forward. I'm also looking forward to another great song from Taylor Swift, not about her bad choices in men this time, but about her bad choices in women.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Al.
He's been sitting on that one a while.
I'm glad he was,
I think
man.
He formulated that one.
That was perfect.
That was so good.
That could be a promo.
Absolutely.
It's going to be really weird in about 2-3 years when because remember, we saw this leading up to the election. Why am I attracted to conservative men?
Oh, yeah.
It's like, because they're men and you're pre-wired for it.
Yeah, you have instincts. Sorry.
You can say all you want. Within 2 to 3 years, you're going to be sitting back going like, why have I only been sleeping with conservative men? I hate them. Because you're pre-wired for it, baby girl.
Yeah, because all I have to do is shake it in my overalls a little, and you can't help yourself. This nice, beautiful beard. What are you going to do?
That's right.
Look at Kimmer.
Good
Just
Lord.
lining them up at the golf tournament.
And line them up, knock them down. But not only that, trust the science. The science doesn't lie. Biology doesn't lie. I know you pick and choose when you like to listen to it, but it doesn't lie. Morning Extra and Extra 106.3. When we come back, the cost to support Kamala Harris was extraordinary. Next at Extra 106.3. The Kimmer Show is only on Extra 106.3 every weekday afternoon on your drive home.
The only country in the world that had the ability to destroy the rest of the world and take it over and didn't do it.
We stopped the war, saved the planet, and then said, go live, you Germans can have Germany, Russia can have Russia. I mean, we didn't take their land. We could have taken them all.
We'd assaulted the earth.
In fact,
they never rise again.
The Kimmer Show, every afternoon from 3 to 6 p.m. on Extra 106.3 and the Extra app.
This holiday season, Southern Exteriors is doing something truly special. Home for the Holidays is what it's called. Home for the Holidays. They're giving away a brand new roof. Until the end of the month, November 30th, you have a chance to nominate a deserving family in need of that brand new roof. So a lot of folks are facing hardships economically. Hopefully, in the next couple years, we're going to get that fixed now that we've voted in such a way that Donald Trump will have the opportunity to help so many Americans be more economically sound. So until we get there, the folks at Southern Exteriors want to make a difference too. It's more than a roof. It's peace of mind. It's making just precious and cherished memories that you'll last and that will last for the rest of your life. So come together with us and make a difference. If you know a deserving family in need of a new roof, nominate them today by visiting southernexteriors.co. It's southernexteriors.co. One more time, the website, so you get it right for the Home for the Holidays roof giveaway. southernexteriors.co.
Tune into your new favorite show that's redefining the A to Z's of marketing, The Marketing Madmen. We'll take you behind the scenes of successful campaigns and reveal the strategies that win. We're not just talking about marketing, we're making it happen. From viral content creation to leveraging AI for customer engagement, our experts bring you to the cutting edge of industry. This is your playbook for market dominance. Tune in and transform your approach with actionable tips that could skyrocket your ROI. The Marketing Madmen every Saturday at 4 p.m. right here on Extra 106.3.
Modular and offsite construction is booming. If you're an architect, Building engineer, supplier, developer, or contractor, you can't miss the Offsite Construction Summit, coming to the International Convention Center in Atlanta on November 20th. With the rising cost of traditional building, modular and offsite construction is changing the way companies build. It's quicker, cheaper, and offers a faster ROI. So don't miss the Offsite Construction Summit, coming to Atlanta on November 20th. Register today at offsiteconstructionnetwork.com. That's offsiteconstructionnetwork.com.
Customer service seems like a lost art these days, but EMC Security is bringing it back. I was blown away with their service. They answer the phone quickly and truly want to help you, which is rare these days. My technician was friendly, answered all my questions, and got everything installed perfectly. I highly recommend EMC Security.
EMC Security, exceeding customer expectations since 1998. Call or visit emcsecurity.com for a free quote.
Lee Brandt Jewelry and Watch Company, where quality and value make the difference. Locally owned and located in Sandy Springs, offering you the finest selection of unique diamonds, sapphires, rubies, and emerald jewelry, as well as other fine gemstones. Lee Brandt Jewelry and Watches has been servicing Rolex watches for over 30 years, and their Rolex-trained watchmaker will service your watch in their state-of-the-art Rolex service center in their store. Lee Brandt uses only genuine Rolex parts, and their estimates are free. Drop by Lee Brandt in the Trader Joe's Shopping Center in Sandy Springs or visit LeeBrandt.com.
You have enough to deal with after an accident. You don't want to spend a lot of that time messing around with insurance companies. Besides, what are you going to say to them? You really know the ins and outs? David Van Sant at Van Sant Law does. He used to work for the insurance companies. Their worst nightmare. He knows who to call, what to say, how to listen to them, and he has your best interest at heart. Van Sant Law, 855-GA-INJURY. VanSantLaw.com, 855-GA-INJURY.
The end of the year is closing in, and with it, another tax year comes to an end. As you prepare to file your taxes, consider the efficiency of your tax strategy. Have you maximized your IRA and Roth contributions? Do you have an RMD strategy in place? Are you making moves now to maximize your future tax-free income? Not only is the year-end fast approaching, but the 2017 tax cuts sunset at the end of 2025, placing many Americans in a higher tax bracket. Don't just report your taxes, plan for them. Contact Master Plan Retirement Consultants now to create a retirement plan specifically designed for you. Visit masterplanretire.com to schedule your complimentary consultation where we can illustrate your retirement outlook and create a plan together for your future. Master Plan Retirement Consultants. Plan well and prosper.
Advisory services offered through Master Plan Retirement Consultants, Inc., a registered investment advisory in the state of Georgia. Insurance, tax, and commodity services offered through Fricks & Associates, Inc., DBA Master Plan Retirement Consultants. The aforementioned are affiliated companies.
The stories that matter to you. These are your Georgia headlines. Presented by RBM of Atlanta, your Mercedes-Benz connection since 1964.
Good morning. Here are your top stories in the state of Georgia for today, Monday, November 11th. Happy Veterans Day. A Cumming drugstore that has been serving the area for over 70 years caught fire late last night. The Goodson Drug Company erupted in flames around 7 p.m. and firefighters responded with 11 units to contain the blaze. Battalion Chief Scott Kennedy said the firewall inside the store likely helped prevent the fire from spreading to other buildings. The cause of the fire is still under investigation. Authorities are searching for a man involved in a shooting late last night at an off-campus apartment complex near the University of West Georgia. The shooting occurred in the parking lot of the Reserve Carrollton Apartments. The victim was rushed to the hospital where he succumbed to his injuries. The shooter escaped after abandoning the car they were driving and fled on foot. Law enforcement is continuing the search for the shooter. And in sports, the Atlanta Falcons fell to 6-4 on the season after the New Orleans Saints snapped a 7-game skid to beat the Falcons 20-17 yesterday. Koo missed 3 field goal attempts for the first time in his career in the loss. With your headlines, Scott Rhino, Trump 106.3.
7 o'clock hours brought to you by Van Sant Law. If you're in an accident, make the right call. VanSantLaw.com. Tug, Rhino, and Los. If Donald Trump would have paid to go on a podcast, we'd know it by now. I mean, that news would have been out, and the mainstream media would have ran with it like a Heisman Trophy pose.
Well, we have the campaign finance information.
That's exactly right, man.
We know what was paid for.
Exactly, and we're learning more and more as we read about it because Kamala Harris paid every person who showed support to her because otherwise they wouldn't have tied their name to such a losing campaign. $20 million is what she paid for entertainment and concerts and endorsements. She paid $100,000 to be on the Call Her Daddy podcast, which did not help her at all. And, at the time, we'd all wondered why she did that podcast. Like, why are you talking to the people that you already have? Turns out she didn't already have them. And those internal polls must have told her that. That's the reason she spent $100,000 to go on a podcast that actually fewer people listened to when she was on there.
That was the moment when I realized how in trouble she really was. When she went on when she went on Colbert, when she made it a point to go on The View, after having done no media, the question was, well, why would you go to this friendly media? Because you didn't even have those people. So there's one of two things you can point out. Either the 15 million votes that she was lacking that you had Joe Biden get, well, they decided to stay home, or 2020 was fraudulent. Either way, she knew from their internals that they were not tracking by 2020 numbers.
40% of women under 30 to that point voted for Donald Trump, not Kamala Harris.
Yeah, and I think all those numbers are going to hold up pretty well. I think that what you're seeing now, 4 million people decided there's no way whatsoever we're going to go anywhere near her. I don't even believe the number she got. If we're going to play this game, I'll go back to 2020 and say, yeah, those are fraudulent. I'll also go back to say, well, the only reason any of the states you won because there was no ID. That should really make people wake up a little bit to what's going on.
Beacon.
Yeah, so they're going to play these games because, like I've said, they wanted to win the House and the Senate. They knew they were going to lose with Kamala Harris. They knew the most important thing they could do was try to win the House and Senate. So when Democrats come out and tell you, well, how could someone vote for senators or people down ballot and not vote for Kamala Harris, but vote for Donald Trump instead? Well, that's the fun part about democracy. Not everybody is going to vote all down ballot. They may like somebody who's Democrat. They may like somebody who's Republican. That's the way the game works. But you know what? It almost makes me think, well, the only reason you got senator and House races is because maybe you cheated with the no ID laws.
Well, that was the other part that I found to be very interesting, was the lack of understanding that depending on where you are voting at will give you access to who you can vote to. Because so many of these crazy communists are wondering, well, look at how we put all of our senators and put all of our representatives back in place, but Kamala lost. Well, yes, because guess what happened in your area? More people voted for the president than voted for your person. And when you were, for instance, I only had access to one congressman, Dr. Rich McCormick. He was the only person I could vote for. So when you look at the numbers, well, here's how he did versus the rest of the state. Not everybody in the state got a chance to vote for him. This is a very simple way of them having a lack of understanding of how our actual elections work.
This woman raised $1 billion. $1 billion.
With a B.
With a B, yes. With a B. And it went in debt $20 million, paying people to endorse her, paying people to be, I would guess, at the rallies, because we know that all the same people went to all the same rallies. We found that out by using cell phone data. And there is a Democrat operative. She is the DNC's National Finance Committee chairwoman. Her name is Lindy Lee. She sat down on Fox News, and we don't have the audio, but I'll just tell you, I'll summarize what she said. And she said she helped raise $1 billion, and now she's got lots of questions. She said she was misled. She said this on national television. I was misled. I was told we were going to win this thing. Even up to Election Day. Yeah. They were telling her, the point person who's getting all these big checks from all these Democrat donors, they're saying, we're fine. We're winning tonight. And she said, as she sat down with Fox News, I feel completely misled. And I bet Democrat voters feel very much that way, too.
Misled by what? And by who? Because that's the funny part about this entire thing. How were you misled? Everybody else saw it. We saw it. Heck, 2 months ago, I said, hey, or well, it was probably a little less than 2 months ago when they put Kamala Harris in. I said, hey, he could win this with 312 easy. So a lot of people saw what was going on. It's the economy, it's the border, it's issues. If you couldn't see, as somebody who's supposed to be an expert in this field, that she had no message, that there was no joy, that they were bussing people in, that they were paying people, and that you needed the money to buy movie stars and celebrities to come on stage and sing and create this fake joy.
Or not sing.
You weren't misled. You were blind.
Yeah, could be either one.
Considering that Donald Trump raised during the time period 1/3 of what Kamala Harris and the Democrat machine ended up raising. 1/3, okay? $380-some million versus their $1 billion. And his staff, according to all the numbers that are all public and out there, he paid them 1.5% versus what Kamala Harris had paid her staff, as far as the amount of people they brought in, the amount of entertainers, the amount of people they bust in to make it look like she was more popular than she was. He spent 1.5%. If that is not the epitome of how you run a campaign and how you run a government, I can't wait to see how this plays out, because her entire plan was to spend all of $1 billion to the point where the checks that were supposed to cash on Friday didn't cash for her staff.
And they didn't. She paid her staff $50 million. That was her payroll for her staff. $50 million.
Yeah.
And got obliterated.
I enjoy every minute of that. You know, I thought about it this weekend because Stacey Abrams is out. You know, she all of a sudden reappeared, and I'm like,
I'm not the only loser.
That was my thought. You're only happy because she lost worse than you did and embarrassed way more than you did, but both of you waste record amounts of money. Stacey Abrams ran for governor. We remember how much money they brought in. These donors are trying to buy elections, and the people are standing up saying, I don't care how much money you put in. It used to be if you had a lot of money, you're able to buy ad time, you're probably going to win. But I think a lot of people have educated themselves into who these socialists are and what they're trying to do. And they're saying, I don't care how much money you bring in. You're not giving me any reason whatsoever to vote for you. Kamala Harris gave me no reason to even think about voting for her. Now, of course, you're going to say, well, you're a Trump guy, crazy, and you're dumb and whatever. That's fine, whatever you want to say. But the reality is, tell me one issue that you stood with and said, that benefits all of America, because she never gave me one.
There weren't any.
And don't tell me, oh, joy.
Yeah. Well, actually, they would tell you racism, right? That's what they would.
Okay.
That's what they would
Go
tell
with
you.
that. Go with it all you want.
But that's what they're going with. I mean,
Sure.
that's I've heard it from so many of the talking heads already. Misogyny, racism, sexism. That's what they're going with. The people that don't get it, that's what they're going with.
What's going to happen when all of their fears, none of them are fulfilled? Then what are they going to go to? Because there's always going to have to be something. The revolution, and this is very important to understand about communists, they don't stop. Like we talk about it, they push the football all the way as far down the field as they can. Then they go into exile, which is now, and then they'll wait until they get back into power, and then they push it all the way down the football field again. Think about what they did this time around. They actually thought to themselves, we can offer a death blow to America. Something's going to be very problematic to handle if we just open up the border and let 10 to 20 million people come in. And now that would sound crazy. Had we been sitting on 2020 going, really? Your plans are to open up the border and let 10 to 20 million people come in? And as soon as they got into power, the first thing they did was open up the border. So the revolution's going to continue. It's just a matter of what's their next thing they're going to push and how insane it's going to sound.
It's not going to change. They're still pushing the racism. They're still pushing all of this. The FBI is now investigating racist texts. I'll tell you right now, until it's confirmed, I believe this is a Jussie Smollett kind of thing. I've seen the way that Democrats have been texting black people who voted for Donald Trump and calling them the names they did. They're the most hateful people out there. I guarantee that the FBI hasn't told you who these people are because they're holding it back. But they're going to try everything they can up until Donald Trump is inaugurated to play the racism game, the misogyny game, the transphobia game, these people are extremists, they're trying to attack us, they're saying the most racist things, and yet they have no proof. They're just going to continue down this until they are there to try to stop the House, the Senate, and Donald Trump from passing any kind of legislation.
But that's the thing, Rhino. It didn't work during the election. What are they... Why would they think that anybody's going to listen to that now?
Because it's all they have.
That's all they got.
I know that.
What are you going to do?
But I don't know. Reevaluate? Look internally? Maybe figure out a different path forward?
No,
I don't know.
Here's, and this is a
I know you're right, but I'm just trying to process it myself. How do you be this stupid?
This is a very easy mistake, okay? This is what happens over the course of history. When communism fails, what do the communists always say? Well, The people messed it up. Remember,
Not us.
when the Russians went ahead and put price fixing in the 1920s, and it caused a famine, they looked at it as, well, the people messed it up. It wasn't our plan.
Right.
Across the board, the communists will always blame the people. They will say, we had a great plan. We instituted it correctly. You are the ones who messed it up. This is a very natural reaction that they're going to have. They will never be able to look at themselves. In fact, when you hear Jon Stewart or Bill Maher or David Axelrod look at themselves, it's because they're regular Democrats. They ain't part of the communists the way the rest of these people are.
And that's what happens with these people who are so deranged or so, infected with this mind virus. Anything that they can, pick up on, right? Oh, she was black and they didn't vote for her. They must all be racist. It kind of justifies their feelings because deep down inside, the insecurities, everything that they're really the problem, that they're really the insane ones, they don't want that to be. They want to put it out front and say, no, I'm doing this for the better. And you can say whatever you want, but that's why this is why it's being kept a secret, because you are all racist. You're all racist. And it just kind of leads them into that. And it's really unfortunate. And it's hard to see people break down like this, but it is a mental virus that they're suffering from. So, yeah, they're not going to feel bad about it. They're not going to see how ridiculous they're being at this point.
I just don't know how you don't. I mean, I know because I understand what communism is.
That's because you're normal, dude.
I know, but
somewhat.
Relatively.
When you mess something up, you go, how can I fix it?
Yes.
Of course. That's what normal people do.
All right, well, let me be communist Los. All right, I'm going to mess something up, and you know what the problem is?
Me.
It's your fault, Tug, and it's your fault, Rhino. And Joe, I can't believe you didn't go along with that.
Mm-hmm.
I know that I didn't mess up. I know that it didn't have the right outcome, but it's not my fault. It's y'all's fault.
I guarantee you the socialists are going, if we just had the chance to implement it here, we'd get it right. That's what they've always said, right? And it was rejected, and they're still going, man, if we just get the chance to try it here.
You know the response has been, well, y'all are just too stupid to understand how genius of what we were giving
Absolutely. And my son has a dear friend, and this kid's so smart, and now he is an open socialist.
Yeah.
He says he's a socialist, and he's the smartest, and he is genuinely the book smartest kid in the entire friend group, and they love him, but they all look at him like he's got four heads because he sounds so crazy.
Why don't they ever move to the socialist communist countries to learn and be a part of it?
So they can get it right.
They're not going to.
Of course they're not.
We're not going to let it.
It's always a failure. It's failed everywhere it's been tried, and it will continue to fail.
The land of Trump.
No doubt.
Well, we get to hold it off for 4 years.
That's right.
Maybe 12. We'll see.
But the fight never continues. It's like that old saying, when they say if you want to be great, you got to work for it every day, and the rent's due every day. It's the same way with democracy in the republic.
Revolution never ends when it comes to the communists. You got to be vigilant.
Bill Maher is the last place for Democrats. Next on the Morning Extra on Extra 106.3, Tug, Rhino, and Los until 10. Then Beck, Clay, and Buck in the local afternoon show with Marine Corps Kimmer this afternoon, 3 to 6.
The legend Neil Bortz is only on Extra 106.3. Hey, it's a camera. How's it going? Here's what you missed from the Talkmaster.
So we're sitting around playing Parcheesi last night, and the Queen looks at me and says, why doesn't the media inform people that this country is not a democracy? And that started a conversation. You're right, honey, as always. When the hyena tells us that the rich need to pay their fair share, why doesn't the media then report that actually the top 1% of income earners pay 52% of all income taxes? And every time they talk about the right to vote, why doesn't the media tell us that the Supreme Court has ruled there is no constitutional right to vote in a presidential election? So many other minor things, too. Surely you can think of some examples yourself, and you probably already know the answer.
Catch Neil's commentary every day on Extra 106.3 or listen anytime on the Extra 106.3 app.
Hello, America and Tug. It's Los. Let's talk about Howard Brothers and Kawasaki parts. All right, your mower. Let's face it, we're now at the end of the season. Maybe you've gotten one more mow in, maybe not. Regardless, it's about time to put a break to that mower. Well, you now, as we get into the winter months, know that we're starting to deal with other things. Like, have you noticed all the leaves on the ground? I think I've now gone into the yard 3 times to take care of that. Well, you need to go over to Howard Brothers and find yourself some genuine Kawasaki parts, because let's face it, most of the machines that you are running run on Kawasaki parts. From filters to belts and everything in between, Kawasaki genuine parts are built for performance, and they're built to last. Visit Howard Brothers and stock up on the parts that you can trust and that Howard Brothers customers demand for performance year-round. The grass is always greener when you take care of it with Kawasaki and with Howard Brothers.
Hey, Roswell. Looking for the perfect bite this football season? Head on over to Nucky's Hoagie's Roswell Corners, where every sandwich is crafted with love by us.
The Sub Sisters,
Stacy
and Shannon. Whether you're looking to cater a football tailgate party or grabbing lunch to go or dining in, we've got delicious Nucky's menu items for you. When you bite into a Nucky's Hoagies, you'll taste the difference. The softest hoagie rolls ever, with the freshest ingredients that'll make your taste buds dance.
Make Nucky's Hoagies in Roswell Corners on Woodstock Road your new favorite sandwich spot.
Who doesn't want a great smile? The world seems brighter because it is. Hey, it's a Kimmer. How's it going? You know, that's only one reason to see my dentist, Dr. Dina Giesler at Atlanta Smiles. The other reason, of course, is to take care of your teeth, or they're going to make your life miserable. We all know that. But when's the last time you were smiling before you walked in the door like me? Because I know Dr. Dina and her staff are the happiest Kimmer babes you ever saw. We're going to fix me up, and I always take the gas. They tell me my best stories come out that way. And you can actually get a doggy right there, napping in my lap, a little doggy. I said, go ahead, work away. Dr. Dina's a Navy vet, ranked a master dentist, which only 1% can say. She's been doing veneers since before anybody even knew what that was. My first visit was 30 years ago. Cosmetic dentistry, cleaning, bridges, crowns, especially keeping your teeth and gums healthy to last as long as you do. Veterans Automatic, 10% discount. Just tell them when you call. 404-263-7733. It's atlantasmiles.com. Your new smile's waiting for you. atlantasmiles.com. Tell them the Kimmer sent you. Ask for the doggy. atlantasmiles.com.
Hey, Georgia neighbors, it's time to expect more from your Medicare Advantage. Discover Sonder Health's custom plans tailored just for Georgians. Saunders offers unique benefits, including special plans for those living with chronic conditions. Some plans even come with grocery or gas benefits to support your overall well-being. Sonder Health makes it easy to get the coverage you need. See for yourself what today's Medicare Advantage can do for you. Visit SonderHealthPlans.com, a healthier state of life. Sonder Health Plans is an HMO and PPO with Medicare contracts. Enrollment in Sonder Health Plans depends on contract renewal.
What's up, Atlanta? It's Ben Burnett, host of the Weekend Ben Burnett Show. Each and every weekend, right here on Extra 106.3, we unpack all the week's events. We talk about all the issues with a local Atlanta-based flavor. You can catch me each and every weekend, Saturdays at 2 and Sundays at noon. If you ever miss an episode, you can go to the podcast park or wherever you download all of your content, and I'll be right there. Thanks for listening to the Ben Burnett Show, proudly brought to you by Butler Snow.
This is Jonathan Geller at D. Geller & Son Jewelers, where this weekend we're inviting you to our Takori holiday event, where you can shop an extended collection of engagement rings, wedding bands, and new fashion jewelry, all handcrafted in the USA. Takori's collection includes new and trending designs, classic styles with a signature touch, and incredible matching wedding bands. They're fully customizable, so you can try on all your options and have your dream ring handcrafted in time for a holiday proposal, all with the help of the expert team at D. Geller & Son. As always, we have the best loose diamond value in Atlanta, and we'll have an incredible selection, plus jewelers on site to get your new Takori ring ready on the spot. To make it even more special, you can get up to 24 months 0% APR financing, or up to $1,000 back in Amex gift cards. Just like the holidays, this amazing event only comes once a year. So come join us at our Takori holiday event, only at D. Geller & Son, Atlanta's most trusted jeweler since 1939. In Atlanta, Kennesaw, and Sandy Springs. RSVP online at dgeller.com.
Extra 106.3 is proud to be your conservative voice in Atlanta, and we offer a huge slate of original podcasts. Head over to thepodcastpark.com and grab the podcast that you love, all presented by Associated Credit Union.
The crazy's going to continue to be crazy. You'll still see women cutting their hair. Sex, they're going to have sex, or, what is it? They're prohibiting it. They're banning it. They're banning themselves from having sex. There's all kinds of craziness. Just,
last week, and maybe this week.
Yeah, exactly. We'll see how long it lasts. I guess is a good point. But we talk about the people that get what went wrong and the people that don't. And Bill Maher, as much as I agree with him, which is disagree with him rather, which is about 50% of the time, I ain't afraid, Los, to tell Bill Maher when he's right. Not that he would ever listen to me, but I'm not afraid to say it out loud when he gets it right.
Whether it's MSNBC, CBS, ABC, NBC, I have to go through the whole letter soup.
Nah, yeah.
They all were giving this optimistic view of what was going on. Bill Maher, during this entire election cycle, was perhaps the only person who was calling into question, what are we doing? Why are we running this woman? Why are we running this person who's a San Francisco liberal? Why did this person not go through a primary process? He's just asking all the questions and pointing out, here are all the faults that we have going on here. And so by the time that we now get to a 312 to 222 electoral college beatdown, Bill Maher was one of the only people, one of the very few people with a weekly talk show who was bringing up this sort of facts.
What I hear from the usual suspects, I'll call them on the left in the media, is just, again, not looking in the mirror.
They didn't call him Hitler loudly enough.
Or that just a lot of people texted me things like, well, you can't fix stupid. Sorry, that doesn't work with me. Yeah, you're stupid because you're not thinking about the bigger picture. You're not thinking about maybe we did something wrong. Maybe we're not perfect. It's like a relationship. You got dumped. America dumped you, and they're all like, you don't know what you had. Yes, they do. They know what they had, and what they're saying is, we know what we had, and you're a mess.
And we want it back. We want what we had back.
But that's the fun part about it, is that so much of this comes back to their response has been, well, you think your prices are high now.
You just wait till those tariffs kick in.
Wait till those tariffs start to do what those tariffs are going to do. It hasn't been a picnic for the last 4 years. So, yes, you were rejected outright. And Bill Maher's the only one who's telling you, just calling them dumb, you're missing the big picture.
Yeah, you really are missing the big picture. But again, it's because you don't have to dive into issues on that side. You actually have to look in and say, well, what does this mean? And that's what we've done so well is we talk about why energy is so important, the companies that are involved in it. We talk about the border. We talk about what needs to happen there. We don't gloss over everything and then just go, but Trump, but Trump, but Trump. That message is never going to get you anywhere. So unless you're a liberal and you start diving in and saying, well, let me understand how the economy works. Let me understand what price gouging really means if you say that, because they don't price gouge. Let me look into the fact that we sit here and say prices are so high in a grocery store because these people are evil and dirty and greedy and they're taking all your money. And then you look and go, well, they only make 1% profit. That's not really
That's not
gouging.
really greedy. That's not really gouging. But yeah, and it's funny to me.
If they're gouging, they ain't doing a great job of it.
They need to be fired and replaced with somebody that can gouge better. No, but it's almost like the whole border thing. Now that we can get our arms around it, and we know that's going to be the thing that Trump focuses on day one, very first. You have those on the left. I watched a whole monologue on MSNBC, and they're like, well, how are they going to afford this? I'm like, well, what do you mean how they're going to afford it? They're going to take the billions of dollars you've been handing out to people that were here illegally and use it to secure the border. The tax dollars are going to be used what they're supposed to be used for. That's where the money's coming from.
None of them are business people. Kamala Harris ever run a business? We don't even know if she actually worked at McDonald's. So these people don't understand how businesses work or how to. You would think that when they write checks to, the electric company or they pay their bills, they'd understand, well, I better have enough money coming in to pay these. But they don't understand the way the business works. They don't understand, okay, I have to cut here in order to afford this. If we cut giving money to people that we don't need or don't deserve it and start giving it to people that are American citizens, even though I'm against that, but in the reality, if you just put it that way to a Democrat, well, why not go into the inner cities and work on the schools that you're having a problem with? Oh, I know why. Because you're taking all that money and you're giving it to somebody else. You're paying for their education, their housing, their food, their clothing. Why not look at what we need to do to take care of the people in our own communities? It's that easy.
Let me give you the astronomical number. In fact, if you tried to use this on your calculator, let me just tell you, it ain't going to work out for you very well. So in adding 87,000 new IRS agents, the average rate of salary for a starting salary IRS person coming in?
65.
48,000.
Okay,
that's not bad.
All right. Yeah. 48,000 times 87,000.
Good Lord.
You want to talk about where stuff gets paid for? When Elon Musk said there's going to be a period of pain, it's not for me. It's probably not for you. It's for all the new government employees that were hired to make the numbers look so good over the last 4 years. When we had 12,000 jobs, that's what we showed for the previous month, 12,000 in job growth, which is anemic by any standards. Understand that 27,000 of those people were actually hired by the government. The private sector lost jobs. Yet, that's how we got to 12,000. The government has been overhiring in order to make the numbers look good. Once we start cutting there, you wonder where this money's going to come from. What are you going to pay for all this stuff? Because we're going to start making government efficient again, brother.
That's exactly right. I want to see Elon Musk walk in there with a machete, with a blowtorch.
It brings a sink, just like at Twitter.
I'm telling you, dude, I can't wait. That will be the most glorious day. That's going to be reminiscent of the British are coming.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, man, it's going to have that same feel for me. When I hear the British are coming, knowing that America was about to do whatever it took to secure the freedom of every American citizen, I'm going to have that same glowing feeling, that same that same desire to protect this country when I see Elon Musk and Donald Trump say we're going to cut $2 trillion, and to see those unelected bureaucrats, to see those 68,000 IRA, 86,000, whatever it is, those people shaking in their boots is the greatest thing that could happen to America.
Yeah.
The greatest thing.
Well, number one, yes, it's going to be the greatest thing. Because when we think about it, let's go back to the IRS, 87,000 agents. Now, what did they tell us that they were using that for? To attack the 800 billionaires in this country.
Right.
Why do you need 87,000 for 800? Break down those numbers if you're a Democrat.
No, you don't.
But what they need to do, and this is the important part, you take that number and you go, Elon Musk is coming in. There's 800 billionaires. Well, then one person per billionaire, that's 800 agents. The rest of you are out, okay? Now, you have to explain it, though. You have to dumb it down for Democrats, because Democrats are so broken with everything else that they need to understand why these things are happening. And I hope that he does it in a responsible way and say, hey, listen, this is how business works. This is why we need to get rid of these people. We still have 800 people to take care of it.
There are, as of the hires as of now, and over the weekend, having Pompeo and having Nikki Haley both be told you're not going to be part of this administration.
Bye-bye.
I have a lot of hopes that exactly what we're talking about, that they're going to treat this government like a business moving forward. That we ain't playing the swamp game anymore, and it's going to be painful, but it ain't going to be painful for the rest of us. It's going to be painful for government employees who've been sucking on the teat of the American people for too long.
So long. It is time for that to be done. It's like dawn in America, and it's beautiful. When we come back, Trump has volunteered to bail out the Kamala Harris campaign. What? After a Neil Bortz report, the Fox News update, more of the Morning Extra.
It's time for the Bortz Report, exclusively on Atlanta's only conservative news and talk station, Extra 106.3.
If I had a wish for you, I would wish that you had a friend like Bernie Marcus, the founder of Home Depot, who passed away last week, age 95. So no politics. I just want to tell you of some of my interactions with Bernie Marcus. Years ago, we're having dinner at Chop's restaurant. He loves to talk about health, asked how mine was. I mentioned that I had a PSA score that was a little high. He immediately offered to put me on a jet and fly me to the Netherlands to talk to a urologist over there that he had great confidence in. The PSA score went down, no need. Still down, by the way. He would tell me stories, early stories, about Home Depot, how he got it going. I love this one. I forget whether the first Home Depot store was on Memorial Drive or Buford Highway. But Bernie and his wife, Billy, they had a little game that they would play when the store first opened. Billy would go to Plymart. If you're old like me, you'll remember Plymart in Atlanta. And as she was walking around, if she saw a customer, for instance, looking at a circular saw, she would walk up and say, "How much do they want for that?" He'd read the price to her. She would immediately get to a payphone and call Bernie back at the Home Depot and tell him what Plymart was charging for that circular saw, and he would lower the price on the spot. so that Billy could go back to him and say, well, at Home Depot over on Memorial, they're selling that same saw for just blank blank. Bernie Marcus pledged to give away all of his money to charity. When he died, he had about $10 billion left in the Bernie Marcus Foundation. That's now in the hands of his sons and family members. They have 20 years to give it all away. What he did for Atlanta and Georgia is unmeasurable. A great man. I'll miss him dearly. So will the entire state. Neil Bortz, Extra 106.3.
Looking for bold discussions on vital issues? Tune in to The Janelle King Show every Saturday at 3 p.m. with an encore episode every Sunday at 9 a.m. right here on Extra 106.3, where we dive into kitchen table topics that are essential for a strong republic. Don't miss an episode, but if you do, it's all good because we have new podcasts that drop every Tuesday on the Podcast Park or wherever you get your podcasts. Don't miss out on these thought-provoking conversations.
As the longest continually operating franchise in Major League Baseball, the Atlanta Braves have plenty of history to share with fans. Tours of Truist Park are offered year-round, and take guests behind the scenes to areas normally off limits during games. With artifacts and exhibits distributed throughout the ballpark, it's a definite must for any Braves or baseball fan. Visit Braves.com/tours to purchase your tickets today. And did you know that along with exclusive tours around the ballpark, you can also host a private event at Truist Park? Corporate meetings, trade shows, team building events, holiday parties, rehearsal dinners, you name it. Truist Park can host it. Their dedicated staff is sure to bring your vision to life. Whether you're looking for a large space or something more intimate for your next event, there's a venue to accommodate your needs. Visit Braves.com/events to see more details. Atlanta Braves Baseball. We are Braves country.
Isn't it funny how the Democrats always focus on the bad part of American history and they never talk about the good part of American history?
Yeah.
The Kimmer Show every afternoon from 3 to 6 p.m. on Extra 106.3 and the Extra app. WFOM and W292EV Marietta, a Dickey broadcasting station. The 8 a.m. hour is brought to you by Central Heating and Air.
A sit down at the White House. Gianna Gelosi, Fox News. President Joe Biden and President-elect Donald Trump will meet at the White House Wednesday morning as the president promises a peaceful transition.
For National Security Advisor Sullivan, the president will go through top domestic and foreign policy issues when the two meet on Wednesday. This is an opportunity for the president to tell Trump where some things stand and get Trump's take on how he plans to handle those issues. The priorities of the White House in the next roughly 2 months include delivering hurricane relief funds, passing national defense policy, and confirming federal judges. Funding for Ukraine is also especially important for this administration. Sullivan is confident that by January 20th, they'll be able to send Ukraine the full amount of resources and aid that Congress authorized. He also says the president will have the chance over the next 70 days to make the case that supporting Ukraine contributes to Europe's stability.
And that was Fox's Madeline Rivera. President-elect Donald Trump already speaking with leaders from the Middle East.
The Trump team tells me that these leaders are telling our president-elect that they want the killing to end, they want the fighting to end, and they think he is the one who will be able to do it. Now, the most recent peace talks in Qatar between the United States, Israel, and Hamas failed. The Biden administration has now asked Qatar to kick Hamas out of its country. Now, from the Israeli side, Prime Minister Netanyahu talking about Trump saying, we see eye to eye on the Iranian threat in all its components and the danger posed by it. We also see the great opportunities before Israel in the expansion of peace and in other realms.
That's Fox's Matt Finn in Tel Aviv. Meanwhile, Trump already at work filling out his cabinet, telling the New York Post he will be nominating New York Congresswoman Elise Stefanik to serve as U.S. ambassador to the UN. He also announced on Truth Social that former acting director of U.S. Immigrations and Customs Enforcement, Tom Homan, will be his administration's border czar. America is listening to Fox News.
If your approach to everyday aches and pains is to mask them, feel better for a few hours only to have the pain return and then repeat the cycle all over again, it's time to try Relief Factor. And the good news is Relief Factor makes that easy. Their 3-week quick start is just $19.95, less than $1 a day. Instead of masking pain, Relief Factor helps eliminate it. How? Well, its unique formula of ingredients helps support your body's response to inflammation. Relief Factor was developed by doctors. It's 100% drug-free, and for so many people, the results are game-changing, even life-changing. So give it a try. Right now, their 3-week quick start is just $19.95. Go to ReliefFactor.com or call 1-800-4-RELIEF. That's 1-800-4-RELIEF. See how in a few weeks or even days, Relief Factor can reduce your pain. When you feel better, life is just better. So don't mask pain. Fight it naturally with Relief Factor.
Wake up with the Morning Extra on Extra 106.3 Atlanta.
I don't know that the city of Atlanta has had a better week than they had this week. They had the election go the way of America, so it will benefit the city of Atlanta, the state of Georgia. But then you dig a little bit deeper. You had Georgia Tech upset Miami. You had a Georgia loss. Georgia Tech fans are having a damn good week.
All right, I'm going to give you this because, yes, that was a fun game to beat Miami, who is just, they're a total fraud. They're 54th in the country in defense. Everybody else in the playoff picture is basically top 20. So eventually it caught them. Do you realize this crazy number? Every team who plays in the NFL, who plays in college football at the FCS or the FBS level in Florida lost.
Wow, no, I didn't realize that.
Every one of them.
Yeah. Wow.
There is no victory in Florida at all.
Well, the election was good for the state of Georgia and the state of Florida. But I'm just, because I know some diehard Tech fans. Obviously, my son, his best friend growing up is a quarterback down at Georgia Tech. And I just know they had, I mean, they were heeing and hawing, and they were having the time of
they knocked
their
off a
life.
playoff team.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But then to see Georgia lose, that was the cherry on top.
Oh, it was great.
I mean, they
absolutely
could not want.
Look,
you know,
as
like
a Florida loser, I was like,
well, I know.
Yeah, I knew that was kind of. Well, look, after watching them play Florida, I knew you had a little bit of issues at quarterback.
They're good,
and
not
some
great.
of this stuff, and they're great.
Yeah.
Well, they couldn't
they're
block
still great.
Look,
They're good, not great. I don't know if
They're
they're
still
great.
a great team. They're just not the greatest of them
Definitely
all right
not.
now. And
Definitely
you never know. Look, that's the great part about 12-team playoff. That team can run through the playoffs.
Sure.
You never know. But I will say this. Carlos Medina, by the way, on Friday, if you go back and listen to the show, you will hear one thing that was very fun. While we were broadcasting, we also had the locker room not far. John Michaels is over there, and Carlos is, well, you know, Miami is 54th in the country in defense. I don't expect them to play well at all. I mean, he's going, and you could see John Michaels, because we could kind of see
Just
him
boiling.
turning his head, boiling. I mean, he drew him off sides. Carlos was right.
My wife called it. She's like, is Haynes King playing?
Yeah.
And we told her, yeah. She's like, Miami's going to lose this game. I promise you. So, I was like, wow, I was blown away by her solid stance.
I was watching that game with my stepdad and my father-in-law, and I've now recognized that it's sometimes it's difficult to watch football with men who watch just the football, especially when you have great respect for them.
Yeah.
As my father-in-law is sitting there screaming about how Georgia needs to get creative, I just went, hey, listen, their right tackle just went to left tackle, and their left tackle just went back to right tackle, and their guard just moved inside. And I'm like pointing out what all is going on in the offensive line. At one point, they had moved their right tackle to left tackle. They put Oscar Delp on his shoulder and were like, block this guy up front. And they both missed. And it took a second and a half to put the quarterback on the ground. Yes, the quarterback is struggling, but there's nothing you can do if you can't block up front.
Then, secondly, they lead college football in the most dropped passes that would be touchdowns. I think the number was like 28, 29, 30.
Total. They're at 27 dropped
27.
passes.
That was before the game. It was 27.
They're ahead of UAB.
Yeah, dude, I'm telling you. It's unbelievable.
Respect Alabama, Birmingham, but Georgia's not supposed to be leading the country in drop passes.
Man,
well, you're right.
They could use
Tug,
some.
Man. They stink.
Yeah, I didn't say this. I said they're good.
I know, I'm putting words in your mouth.
No, I said they're good, not great. And that's really what I think they are.
And here's what will happen.
Not a great team.
They're going to beat Tennessee this weekend, and everyone's going to be back on the
bandwagon. Everybody's going to be back in.
All they have to do, they win their last couple games, or in the playoffs,
sure.
and see what happens.
Yeah, absolutely.
And they get to host a playoff game.
And the only obstacle is Tennessee. I mean, that's the last. That's the remaining obstacle. I know.
You
better
not downplay Georgia Tech, sir.
Well, Georgia Tech. Do we have Vandy? Don't we have Vandy? Do we still have Vandy, or we don't have him on the schedule? Maybe I'm wrong. I don't
Los,
know.
you got to look that up.
Although Vandy got knocked off by a sneaky good South Carolina.
Georgia's
getting better.
Who's getting better?
Georgia's going to get destroyed by Tennessee, destroyed by Vandy, and then destroyed by Tech. And you know what? It'll be all right.
That'd be a tough
rebuild.
end of the
Oh, God, would that be horrible?
You got Tennessee, you got Georgia
I would
Tech,
feel
and
so
that is
bad
it.
for Georgia fans.
I wouldn't. We've had a good run, man.
Oh, by the way, you got UMass, by the way, before.
Work in the Minuteman. Don't forget them.
Oh, yeah. You think Kirby Smart takes any flack for any of this, or mean, he's got to, right?
I mean, every coach takes
you've
flack.
built such a beautiful team at Georgia, and then to have it just kind of, look, this is a different game, and I think the NIL has really done a lot to change and kind of level a playing field in some way or another. Poor Kirby Smart. I know that guy has to work harder than most, coaches. I think all coaches work hard, but man, that guy's put together a lot of good teams. So,
well, the era has altered in that this is very similar to free agency. If you're deficient somewhere, you don't have to wait a recruiting class or two to fix it. You just go to your collective and say, I need $20 million.
That's it.
And this is what we need. And so Ole Miss, who got shredded last year by Georgia. We're talking 50 points and ran all over them.
Man, it was great.
You were there. I was there. That defensive front is completely different than last year. That's what $20 million will do to a program.
And getting your quarterback involved in the recruiting process, because every one of those new offensive line, defensive linemen that came in, Jackson Dart had a hand in. He was working the portal. He was working on social media. He was working behind the scenes, and I think that's what it takes. It is going to be a team effort, man. There is no doubt. When it comes to recruiting, you've got to use the resources that you have, and Jackson Dart's a great resource for Ole Miss.
Yeah, look, it's I am excited about college football this year. I've had a really good time watching college football this year because it really is evolving into a really fun sport. I think they're going to look at some of this NIL agreements and kind of adjust it all back and forth. But I think right now they've got a good idea of how this is going to work moving forward. And I think it does. I think it does level the playing field. I still think the SEC is the best conference in the nation and will always continue to be. But everyone's going to have a down year here and there. Georgia's going to find somebody that's going to come in and be the next Matt Stafford or the next, who's that guy who won a Stetson?
Old steady.
Yeah, the old drunk. But you know what? They can recruit now better than anyone else. They've got a lot of money here. There's nothing more important in this state than the Georgia football.
I'll tell you.
Or college football in general.
Another thing that I saw over the weekend was the NFL fine Bosa for wearing the MAGA hat. But all they did was
Nick Bosa, the 49ers defensive end.
Yeah, yes, thank you. All they did was light the fire of that becoming a cultural thing in the NFL. Because, all the Trump dances that I saw on social media, I don't spend a lot of time with the NFL, but you couldn't miss them. The 49ers doing the Trump dance. There were Trump dances in Detroit. They were all over.
And in the liberalist of areas in California. Now, granted, they're playing in Santa Clara, but it's San Francisco as a team. Sure. To watch them sack the quarterback and then do Trump dances. Okay, you've actually managed, because of how bad that you have managed this country, communist, Democrats, socialists, you have managed to make the NFL actually mock you on Sundays.
Unbelievable, dude. Mm-hmm. And they got their social media crap in the end zones and on the back of helmets. And then you got players rebuking everything that whatever your message is.
Yeah.
The actual players are like, man, we're going to embrace Trump. We're going to embrace the fact that he is winning, and he's a winner, and he's going to make America great again in spite of the NFL.
I thought about baseball and thought about, some of the players that got in trouble for putting their hands over to their ear and doing the fist sign. And I was like, man, I wish baseball was around and see some home run celebrations and celebrations that would involve this too.
Do the little dance.
This is going to be the thing. Yeah, this is going to be the thing. Sure. And it's trolling to a point, but at the same time, it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. And I've got no problem with it, obviously, because I'm on the right side of things. But I love when they can't handle it and they break down, even though they know they would never find anybody for wearing a Harris hat.
No, definitely not.
I don't know if those exist anymore.
I'm sure there's out there. I did see they were on sale.
Oh, they're on discount now.
I saw that same thing.
Yeah, my point was, when we fight right, we save. They're like 75% off. You can get all the Kamala Harris gear you want.
When we Kamala ready.
That's exactly right, man. I love it. I love it. It's been fun to see the reaction. It's been fun to see the people who have embraced Donald Trump that I never expected to. It's, I don't know, a little fulfilling.
It is. It's fun to watch the videos, too, of people now driving by and people trying to pull out the Harris signs and then other people going, you need help with that?
Yeah,
and them losing their mind. I think trolling is in order. I have no problem with trolling. You know, these are the left who trolled and lied and continue to attack people left and right for the past 4 years. Well, guess what? It's coming back now to you.
Well, the fun part,
in a nice way,
has been that after mocking for the better part of 4 years, and honestly, mocking for 8 years, telling you that you were subhuman, you were idiotic, you were Hitler, you were fascist, all the things that they said. Now they're the ones posting about, you better not make fun of me or I'll be more rude to you than you can be rude. And all I can think to myself is, well, you lost. Now you got to reap it.
Yeah, right. Absolutely.
You know, hey.
No doubt. Absolutely.
And it's sad. And now what's going to be problematic for these people is that they live in this Trump atmosphere that they, even when the man wasn't in office, that's all they thought about. Now they're not going to be able to possibly have one waking moment where they don't think about him.
Oh, my gosh.
I mean, you're talking about inspiring 2 assassination attempts within 3 months when we hadn't had an assassination attempt in this country in 40 years.
It's unreal, dude. It really is. And look, I'm not trolling anybody. I don't have to. All I do is watch the chaos, watch people implode, and I'll get a chuckle and move on. I'm fine with that. CNN, when they get in a roundtable discussion, though, they won't allow transphobia. They're not going to allow that, Los. Not at their table. Not on the great CNN.
I love this from CNN. And here's why they lost. Here's why they will continue to lose. Because what we have done here at Extra is tell you how it is to the best of our ability. There is no point where myself or Rhino or Tug has ever given you some sort of crazy spin. In fact, the best part about winning is that now we get to go at like places like the Senate and go, what are y'all doing, you jokers, with who you're looking to have be the majority leader? I mean, these are the things that we get to be critical about. But on CNN, they don't do such things. Take a listen as this analyst is going to talk about why they lost and talking about boys playing in girls' sports, and listen to the response from Crazy Lib.
I think there are a lot of families out there who don't believe boys should play girls' sports.
They're not boys. I'm not going to listen to transphobia at this table. I am not going to listen to you call a trans girl a boy.
Are you going to allow me to finish my explanation?
When you use a word that's a slur, I'm going to interrupt. That's not how it is. They're not boys. They're not boys. They're not playing girls' softball. I'm not going to sit there and listen to that.
So, I'm not going to say it's a slur.
So apparently, calling a boy
is a slur.
Is a slur. I'm sorry. We've now reached the point on their side. This is academia. This is the faculty lounge. These are the elites that have decided here's our language police. And regular, everyday Americans who are just looking to show up, do their job, and pay their bills, sit back and go, no, that's a boy. Okay,
Yeah.
if you can't,
Biology tells me.
if you can't just be able to speak that honestly about something as simple where there's only 2 options, it's not a gremlin, it's not a dog, it's not a horse, it's either a boy or a girl, and that's it. That's all it can ever be, and yet you're calling that a slur. You'll never win again.
Democrats, if you continue, he's absolutely right. If you continue down this path, you will never win another election. And if you continue to cater to these lunatics who can't realize there are 2 genders, that's it. Sorry. I hate to tell you. Now, you could play make-believe and, if you want to. I am going to be the nicest guy in the world. If I see you at racetrack and you're being nice to me, I'm going to be nice to you. You want to be called a woman? I don't even care. I'll be like, yes, ma'am. I don't care. I am not going to, though, if you look like a woman, even if you are a man, and I go, yes, ma'am, and you go, I'm they, them, I don't care. I don't care about your pronouns. I'm going to take it to the respectful level, and that's it. I'm not going to play your games anymore, and neither is most of America. You have done nothing except for distracted from the things that are really hurting families, including minority families, which is the economy, the border, and everything else we suffered through because you want us to play your games.
Isn't it interesting, guys like Shermichael Singleton, who brought this up, wins the debate because he's common sense. You have Scott Jennings on CNN, and both of these men are stacked at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, panel of 6, and they use common sense and win the discussion. Scott Jennings at a table of 6 uses common sense and wins the discussion every time on CNN.
I used to make this point, and I would always be with the Two Live Stews, going back 20 years ago. Because when I would
there
work,
was 790, right?
Yes,
the old,
way back in the day in sports talk. And the game was who could yell louder at the other brother. These brothers growing up, Doug and Ryan, this is what they would do. And I always had the same point. I was like, guys, just because you get louder doesn't make your point any better. And that's what happens at CNN. The point gets louder. I'm not going to stand for that transphobic talk. Well, no, it's still just factual. And so here's how we've won. Here's what is going on with this radio station, other people that are out there doing this sort of stuff. If we talk to people in a way that is factual and simple and not trying to use the PC terms or anything that's convoluted, then America gravitates towards it, because this whole faculty lounge speak doesn't work for people. No. It's like speaking Greek. It's going outside of reality.
No, of course it is. And I see it over and over again. I have no desire to be rude or mean to anybody. I'm not going to be rude or mean to anybody. I'm going to be respectful to every person I meet and encounter. I want to reflect Christ's love in everything I do. But I can't turn off my brain.
No.
When I walk out the door, and this happened, I don't know, it's probably 6 months ago, there was a man, clearly a man, dressed as a woman. I just said, hey, how are you today?
Yeah.
And kept walking. There was no part of me that wanted to be ugly, say anything ugly. I just don't want to do that. I have no interest in it. But at the same time, I couldn't turn my brain off. I knew what I was looking at.
Yeah. Look, the Democrats have done the entire, hey, don't believe your eyes and ears for an entire 4 years. Don't believe that Joe Biden's old by what you see or what you hear. We're telling you these things. We're telling you that this isn't a boy. This is a girl. Don't worry about what he has down below and that he's taking it out in a locker room. He's really a girl. Or, I'm sorry, it's really a girl, I guess. The reality is that nobody's falling for it anymore. Nobody cares. And the truth is that I'd say probably 99% of America sit back and go, enjoy your life. Have a happy
Unless
life.
it's kids.
If it makes you happy, exactly.
That's when you
But if you're going to
really
come to
piss
me
people off.
and tell me my kid needs to be a certain way because he likes the smell of a crayon, then get out. But the reality is, if you're doing this at an adult age and you're doing your transition, most of us don't care. We're usually happy for you. If you're happy, be happy. I want everybody to be happy.
I think that was the sleeper issue of the election.
It was. You nailed it.
It's so clear. So many people. I feel like, and you're the same way, Lois. It's not like you go out of your way to be rude or mean to anybody, but you can't turn off your brain. You can't pretend something is when it's not.
It highlighted a level of insanity that said you cannot have these people in leadership. That's what it ended up doing.
Morning Xtra and Extra 1063. 312, that's the new number of success. Next on Extra 1063, Tug, Rhino, and Lowe's 8 o'clock hours brought to you by Central Heating and Air Conditioning, your Atlanta carrier experts. 770-GET-HEAT, centralheat.com.
The Kimmer Show is only live on Extra 1063 every weekday afternoon on your drive home.
Former California First Lady and journalist, so-called journalist and TV star Maria Shriver was at a town hall, and a woman stood up and said, "Are we going to be able to ask a question?" As the vice president took the stage with Liz Cheney. Here we go from the town hall last night.
You're not, unfortunately. We have some predetermined questions, and hopefully I'll be able to ask some of the questions that might be in your head. I hope so.
Hopefully. She just announced to the town hall that there'll be no questions from you people. We just want you to hear what we want you to hear. We don't want to answer your questions. Are you kidding me? I mean,
let the California millionaire elitist with Kennedy ties tell you what you should ask.
The Kimmer Show, every afternoon from 3 to 6 p.m. on Extra 1063 and the Extra app.
Millions
of guys suffer from erectile dysfunction. That's 1 in 4 men. And I can tell you, I'm one of them.
If you or someone you know suffer from ED, Peyronie's disease, or PE, here's 38-year emergency room doctor and founder of Total Body Therapy of Georgia, Dr. Eric Deal.
Patients who enter my office are often frustrated, hopeless, depressed, and embarrassed. I understand the problem, and I'm going to help you fix it. There are lots of competitors that don't have the credentials that I have. When you go to other clinics, you're not going to see a board-certified physician with the experience that I have. When you come to our clinic, you're going to see me. There's just not one therapy that can solve these complex issues. I'll do a complete history and physical prior to any treatment that we use. Take it from me, Dr. Deal. When it's not hard, it's really hard.
Call Dr. Deal for your free one-on-one evaluation and resolve your ED, Peyronie's, or PE issues. Total Body Therapy of Georgia, 404-777-1911, 404-777-1911, online at stopmyed.com.
You know the old expression, I love it when a plan comes together? Well, with our First Liberty Notes, this has been so true. Hello, I'm Brant Frost, founder of First Liberty Building and Loan. You hear about our family's company all the time right here on the station. For over 30 years, we've been the local lender who said yes when the big banks say no. A couple of months ago, we opened up our First Liberty Notes program to Main Street investors just like you, and the response has been just incredible. Folks from airline pilots to physicians to even pastors are now earning 8 to 13% interest rates while helping to fuel the growth of local small businesses. If you're a qualified investor with a minimum of $25,000, you too could be earning 8 to 13% interest. We'd love to have you join our First Liberty family today. Go to firstlibertyga.com and see if our First Liberty Notes are right for you. Go to firstlibertyga.com. That's firstlibertyga.com.
First Liberty Notes are not obligations of or guaranteed by any financial institution and are not secured by any collateral. They are not FDIC insured or guaranteed by any government agency. You could lose money. SEC accredited investor status must be verified. Securities not offered in any jurisdiction in which it is unlawful.
At Nelson Elder Care Law, we understand that family's everything. That's why we prioritize your family's future with personalized asset protection solutions. Call us today to schedule your legacy planning meeting and discover how our team can tailor our services to meet your family's unique needs, ensuring a secure and worry-free future. NelsonElderCareLaw.com.
Our favorite reason to choose Diamonds Direct over any other jeweler? Free service for life with no fine print. That's right. When you buy your engagement ring or any piece of jewelry at Diamonds Direct, you will never have to pay a dime in the future for sizing, cleaning, or routine maintenance. Even if she accidentally knocks out a side accent diamond, Diamonds Direct will replace it free. Now, other stores claim to offer warranties, but the catch is that they won't honor it unless you bring your ring in for regular inspections. But at Diamonds Direct, inspections are never required. There's no gotcha clause. No fine print, no looking for ways to void the warranty. Plain and simple, at Diamonds Direct, we stand behind what we sell, and we're committed to service it at no charge for life, period. It's all part of our commitment to provide you with the ultimate in value and total confidence before, during, and long after your purchase. Diamonds Direct, the jeweler you can trust with a no questions asked 100% free lifetime warranty with no strings attached. Come see us to learn more. Proud to call ATL home. Diamonds Direct, your love, our passion.
We're all back to busy schedules this time of year, school, work, everything else that's coming up. Hey, the holidays are around the corner. Don't let car trouble add to the stress of your day. Before you start putting all of those miles on your car, CarShield, America's most trusted vehicle protection company, wants you to consider one of their plans. Now, they provide plans for owners of new cars, high-mileage vehicles, or vehicles with expired manufacturing warranties. A broken AC unit can cost you up to $3,000. A broken water pump, $1,400. Are you prepared to pay out of pocket for repairs in this economy? CarShield doesn't just offer affordable repairs, they also provide jobs for 1,300 Americans. And they're here 24/7, keeping you safe on the road. Call CarShield today. Get your free quote and 20% off at 800-227-6100. As we head into the holiday season, save yourself from major repairs. Get a free quote and save 20% now at carshield.com/Beck. 800-227-6100. 800-227-6100. carshield.com/Beck. Coverage varies by plan. View contracts and exclusions at carshield.com.
The stories that matter to you. These are your Georgia headlines. Presented by RBM of Atlanta, your Mercedes-Benz connection since 1964.
Good morning. Here are your top stories in the state of Georgia for today, Monday, November 11th. Happy Veterans Day. A Cumming drugstore that has been serving the area for over 70 years caught fire late last night. The Goodson Drug Company erupted in flames around 7 p.m. and firefighters responded with 11 units to contain the blaze. Battalion Chief Scott Kennedy said the firewall inside the store likely helped prevent the fire from spreading to other buildings. The cause of the fire is still under investigation. Authorities are searching for a man involved in a shooting late last night at an off-campus apartment complex near the University of West Georgia. The shooting occurred in the parking lot of the Reserve Carrollton Apartments. The victim was rushed to the hospital where he succumbed to his injuries. The shooter escaped after abandoning the car they were driving and fled on foot. Law enforcement is continuing the search for the shooter. And in sports, the Atlanta Falcons fell to 6-4 on the season after the New Orleans Saints snapped a 7-game skid to beat the Falcons 20-17 yesterday. Koo missed 3 field goal attempts for the first time in his career in the loss. With your headlines, Scott Rhino, Trump 106.3.
8 o'clock hours brought to you by Central Heating and Air Conditioning, your Atlanta carrier experts. 770-GET-HEAT. CentralHeat.com is the website.
Can I admit something to you, both of you gentlemen?
Oh, wow.
And Joe.
How salacious it is.
Joe, that dirty man over there. Based on what was suggested by management, they were talking about how we're obviously having a late Thanksgiving this year. They talked about putting Christmas trees up early. I did it.
Oh, gosh. Are you serious?
Oh, come on, man.
Yeah.
Y'all put your Christmas tree up already?
Both of them. I did it because I recognize this. So we're going to have the full week of Thanksgiving at the end of the month where we're going to be gone. We'll be in Texas. So basically, it's this week into next week, and then, so that's 2 weeks, right? Well, Christmas is really only going to hit for about 3 weeks in December. So if I was to put it up the week of, right after Thanksgiving, I'm basically putting it up for like 2.5 weeks.
Okay.
So I decided just to get a little bit more love out of this thing.
They were doing it in Charleston, too. All of downtown Charleston.
My kids love it.
And my wife loves it, too. She's going to want to do the same thing. I know this is coming sooner rather than later.
I put them up.
Sorry, boys.
Yesterday. I was like, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. Yeah.
I put it up yesterday. I got them both up. Got the now not decorated or anything else, but
they're standing.
They're standing.
They're upright.
They're there.
Okay.
I am mad at you. Sometimes you got to get into it.
And I won't do the outside. Like, I'm not going to put up the Christmas decoration. Well, not until we get into December.
Okay, got it.
But inwardly, I will allow this to occur.
My wife, for her Christmas gift this year, may be decorating the house.
That's her gift.
Pay for somebody to decorate the house because it's gigantic. I would fall. I would kill myself. I'd be like Chevy Chase up there. just kill.
Just video.
I know. I don't want to.
For us.
Yeah. I think maybe that would, because we don't need anything, and that's something she loves more than anything. Well, we probably won't have that ready either, but that's a different story altogether. I don't know why you had to bring that up, buddy. Just pick the scabs, buddy. Pick the scabs.
I'm sorry.
Get a bunch of Home Depot buckets, and if you go to like one of the camping stores like REI, you could get a shower that's outside. You just hang it up, heat up the water.
Pour the water in there.
At this point, that's what we're going to need.
Well, these are great Christmas gifts. Go ahead, start writing them down. I thought you meant you were going to allow her to decorate for Christmas because she likes to have that kind of control.
No, I just mean the outside of the house.
You're going to pay for someone else to do it.
I was thinking that may be the Christmas gift, is that do it, because she's always wanted to have the whole house done. And there's no way, dude. There's no way I'm getting that done. I'm not good at that stuff. And our house is like super high and down a hill, man. The back of that house, there's not a chance I'm climbing on the roof of the back of the house.
Now, I would volunteer, but do you really want lighted Trump 2024 we won fools on your roof?
Yeah, no.
I probably wouldn't hire me.
Yeah, it's not exactly what we're looking for. Look, I'm not opposed to somebody else
Trump
doing it.
claws on the front lawn.
Right. Yeah. So I don't know. A friend of ours told us about a really, really reasonable guy that does it. You provide all the lights, and they come do it, and like, because I've checked into it before, and it was like
$1,000.
No, well, actually, he does it cheaper than that.
I was about to say reasonable.
Yeah, it was $500.
Yeah,
and I went and checked on it one time before, and it was going to be $3,800.
I've heard $3,000 when it comes to that stuff, but a lot of times they're.
And I was like, not a chance.
Christmas lights are not expensive, but they're including the lights in the package, and they'll put them up and they'll take them down. But yeah, it's like $3,000.
Yeah, this guy he is $250. Put $250 put them up, $250 put them down. You just provide the lights.
That's not bad.
Dude, I was like,
that's worth it.
Is he a drunk? Like, is he gonna fall on your property and sue you?
I got good insurance. I don't know.
Yeah.
You're going to be calling Van Zandt Law before you know it.
Make the right call. Exactly. No, so some friends of ours.
Giving him the number.
This drunk fell on my property. I paid him $200 to put up lights. He's bleeding.
That's right. It's terrible news, man. Who knew? No, some friends of ours used him the last couple of years. And so, I don't know, we got into a discussion about this very same thing. And they're like, no, we got this guy that does it for everybody. I mean, you better get in early because if you don't, he'll be booked up.
Man, that white Christian privilege.
Yeah, no kidding.
That's
man.
what
I tell
you
you
got.
what. Well, but I mean, if you're going to buy yourself or you're going to buy your wife a ring or a necklace, it's going to be $500.
Yeah, no.
I mean, give me something that doesn't cost $500 these days.
She'd appreciate that so much.
Oh my gosh! Like kids are going to get new cell phones this year, right? Not my kids, but some kids, and that's going to be $1,200. You know, so when I started doing the math, I was just like, I mean, she would get more enjoyment out of that than anything else I could buy her.
Absolutely.
Anything.
Yeah.
And there's nothing. And I'd considered it before. We just couldn't afford it. Now, if we can get in time, I'm going to make a call this afternoon and see if we can get in time.
$5 says he still buys her a bunch of gifts.
No, that'll be it, man. That will be it. We got a kid in college. Dear God. We took him grocery shopping.
Oh, forget it.
Dude, we spend as much as we do for ourselves. For him, just, over at Harris Teeter, which is owned by Kroger, so at least you get to use your Kroger Plus card.
Yeah.
And get fill up of gas, Anyway, 404-741-1230. You heard Donald Trump talking about he would pay off Kamala's $20 million in debt. What a kind gesture.
What a nice man.
Dave's in Kennesaw. Dave, what's on your mind?
Well, guys, me and a bunch of my buddies were at Taco Mac Saturday watching Georgia have a meltdown. So we decided talking about politics was going to be more entertaining than that game was. and a buddy of mine brought up a brilliant point. He said that Kamala Harris's campaign raised over $1 billion in 3 months.
That's right.
And ended their campaign $20 million in debt. He said, do you really want somebody with that kind of economic sense running this country's economy?
No. The answer is no, Dave. That's the reason she didn't get elected.
Well, that's what we've been talking about for so long. This woman is wasting money left and right on buying celebrities, buying votes, doing whatever she can. She raised all this money and wasn't able to manage anything with it. She couldn't win with the money. And again, that is what you think of when you think about politics. Whoever gets the most money is going to get the most ad buys, and those ad buys are going to propel them to a victory in those states. Where she spent her money the most, she lost every single one of those states. This is a woman who doesn't understand an economy. Why would you vote for her?
I'm just glad that the money didn't camouflage what all Democrats knew about her in 2020. She's not likable.
Yeah.
She's not electable.
Or relatable. She's not any of those.
I mean, it was really easy when you're in California and you've been kissed by Willie Brown. That, things worked out for you moving forward. But when it came to any sort of national prominence outside of California, no one would vote for her. And it didn't matter how much money you put behind her, how many Oprahs, how many Beyoncés, how many Taylor Swifts. Everyone just said, you're not likable, and I don't trust you. That was it.
If the economy was great, if the border was secure,
that would have masked it a little bit.
Yeah, if gasoline prices didn't look like they were going up and continuing to go up, if the stock market didn't look like, hey, we're heading for a crash, which we still are. Don't get all excited about the highs. But the reality is, people looked back and said, I don't care about the joy. I don't care about Beyonce jumping on stage, Nicki Minaj, Cardi B, P. Diddy endorsing her, whoever. I don't care anymore. What I do care about is taking care of my family.
312. That is the new high right there. That is the new level of success. That's the number that we should always be shooting for, Rhino.
Man, I was hoping it would be. And like we all talked about, if this is a fair election, there's no way this isn't a landslide victory. The American people spoke, and they said, Kamala Harris, you have offered us nothing. Everything is going to Donald Trump, and boy, was this a butt-whooping, a landslide. Democrats got destroyed and now have to rethink their entire strategy and their entire party. There's so much divisiveness in this party, but they knew they were going to lose this. They knew they didn't have momentum. They hoped, they prayed that Kamala Harris would, well, they didn't pray, but they were hoping that Kamala Harris was able to really just kind of energize people. And she did. Don't get me wrong. She did for the first 2 weeks. Then when she couldn't, tell anybody what her issues were, how she was going to fix the economy, rather than just saying, I grew up in a middle-class family, there was no substance. So they decided, hey, we got to start working on the House and the Senate because we can't lose all three.
I tell you, it's gratifying, is encouraging, hopeful for the future of America. That's what it is. But it is a daily fight that Donald Trump was going to have to continue to fight every day. None of the stuff that they're quiet about now will stay quiet. Although I will say there's been a couple weird flip-flops, like Adam Schiff in the LA Times talking about how he's open to working with Trump. And I was like, what? What? How could this be the case? And I don't expect that he's genuine about it necessarily. I mean, there's nothing that Adam Schiff offers. No. What is it that he's going to be like working with Adam Schiff? Trump's going to go, let me go get Adam Schiff on this. I know he'll do a good job.
The rabbit has the gun.
Yep.
All right. These are the people that were the most outspoken and the most, when it came to illegality, were pushing things to try and get Donald Trump. Now, if you tell me, hey, I didn't agree with Trump policy, I'm going to be a target. Sure. I don't believe so one bit.
No. Yeah.
If you skirted the law and colored outside the lines and did everything you could in the interest of, I'm going to not just try and I'm going to try and bankrupt you, or I'm going to try and make sure you can't hold office again. You tried to put that man in prison.
And got him shot at twice.
And so if this just so happens that you end up having to reap it, I don't have a problem with that. I don't think that's vengeful one bit.
No, this isn't vengeful. What this is Adam Schiff, Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, Hakeem Jeffries, and every player behind the scenes that pushed false narratives and lies and continue to lie, and then got involved with the media, got involved with the whole Russian hoax and all the things. They're afraid that the truth is going to come out. They're afraid that Donald Trump and Joe Biden and Jill Biden, who voted for Donald Trump, by the way, who are going to be able to get to those classified documents, to get to all the information. That's why they wanted to keep him out so bad, because he is going to expose the swamp. He is going to expose both Republicans and Democrats who broke the law. And he is going to say, hey, here's what we have. Here's what it is. This is why they're getting prosecuted. I'll give you the full truth. That's what they're afraid of. They're afraid of everything they did behind the American people's back, all the money they stole from the American people, all the lies they told them. They'll never be able to run for office again.
Another person, John Bolton, is now saying, no, Trump did not say that our veterans are suckers and losers. John Bolton said this to the New York Times. He says, I was there, and I'd be willing to swear on anything that he did not say those things. You got that. That's another one. You got Schiff saying all of a sudden. You got Bolton saying all of a sudden.
Again.
And then one more. Yeah. Let me give you one more. Bill Gates. I'm sure y'all saw his tweet.
Oh, yeah.
Looking forward to working with President Trump to make, America even better than it already is. That dude's on the Jeffrey Epstein list, I bet.
Oh.
There's a reason all of a sudden he donated $50 million to Kamala's campaign. Mm-hmm. He called him everything that the left called him. It's there's more and more people going, oh my God, he's going to release these lists, the Epstein list, the P. Diddy list. He's going to release it all, and I've got to do what I can to self-preserve, I guess.
Bill Gates is going to get caught using Microsoft to silence people. He's going to get caught with the farms that he was buying, what he's been doing, and he's going to be exposed for the fraud that he is and what he was getting from the Biden-Harris administration.
The people that are leaving this country, it's because they're on those lists.
Dude, it wouldn't surprise me at all.
Well, you better hurry up and get out.
You better go on.
Gone.
There's only
one. Gone.
There's only one of them that's going to shock me when it occurs.
Which one?
Allegedly. I'm just saying hypothetically. What would be the biggest surprise?
Oh, you're asking.
Kamala.
No.
And Diddy?
Tom Hanks.
Oh, God.
I've said that.
Come on.
If that would hit the same way Cosby would hit.
I'm telling you. I believe that.
If that ever occurred with one of these.
I know it's all alleged.
Yeah.
But you keep seeing that name. You keep
circulating around.
I'm telling you. I brought that up 2 or 3 times with our friend group, and everybody's just appalled that I could even.
It's America's dad.
I'm just telling you. I know it's alleged. It is alleged. We're making Sure, we say it lives.
Hypothetically, if that did occur, that would be the biggest impact in my mind.
I won't believe it until there's real evidence. But when there is, if there is, God, that would be devastating to a lot of people.
Show you the videos and you'll go,
I'd be more
want to see
surprised.
any videos from any of that.
I'd be more surprised that his name's not on the list than I would if it were.
I just don't know if there'd be anyone who's more shocking than that.
Woke politics should finally take its last breath. Next on Extra 1063.
The legend Neil Bortz is only on Extra 1063. Hey, it's a camera. How's it going? Here's what you missed from the Talkmaster.
And I'm talking about prescription drugs being advertised. We're teaching our kids drugs are the answer. Should they be permitted to advertise? Yeah, go ahead. Name the drug, the side effects, and tell them what it can do for you, and get the hell off the tube.
Catch Neil's commentary every day on Extra 1063 or listen anytime on the Extra 1063 app.
You may know that ATL Turf Co. has become a leader in artificial grass design and installation services, but you may not know that ATL Turf Co. is a large artificial grass distributor. We only sell U.S.-made, premium-name brand turf at factory direct pricing below wholesale. And now we're open to the public with large inventories of lawn and landscape, putting green, athletic, and pet turf on sale. Plus, all remnants are on sale for only $1 per square foot, direct from Dalton to our warehouse in Kennesaw. Visit atlturfco.com to learn more. atlturfco.com.
Who doesn't want a great smile? The world seems brighter because it is. Hey, it's a Kimmer. How's it going? You know, that's only one reason to see my dentist, Dr. Dina Giesler at Atlanta Smiles. The other reason, of course, is to take care of your teeth, or they're going to make your life miserable. We all know that. But when's the last time you were smiling before you walked in the door like me? Because I know Dr. Dina and her staff are the happiest Kimmer babes you ever saw. We're going to fix me up, and I always take the gas. They tell me my best stories come out that way. And you can actually get a doggy right there, napping in my lap, a little doggy. I said, go ahead, work away. Dr. Dina's a Navy vet, ranked a master dentist, which only 1% can say. She's been doing veneers since before anybody even knew what that was. My first visit was 30 years ago. Cosmetic dentistry, cleaning, bridges, crowns, especially keeping your teeth and gums healthy to last as long as you do. Veterans Automatic, 10% discount. Just tell them when you call. 404-263-7733. It's atlantasmiles.com. Your new smile's waiting for you. atlantasmiles.com. Tell them the Kemmer sent you. Ask for the doggy. atlantasmiles.com.
Hey, Georgia neighbors, it's time to expect more from your Medicare Advantage. Discover Sonder Health's custom plans tailored just for Georgians. Saunders offers unique benefits, including special plans for those living with chronic conditions. Some plans even come with grocery or gas benefits to support your overall well-being. Sonder Health makes it easy to get the coverage you need. See for yourself what today's Medicare Advantage can do for you. Visit SonderHealthPlans.com, a healthier state of life. Sonder Health Plans is an HMO and PPO with Medicare contracts. Enrollment in Sonder Health Plans depends on contract renewal.
Insurance companies know that you don't know a lot about the law, so maybe it would be better just to let your lawyer make the call to the insurance company when there's a problem. David Van Sant should be that lawyer. He used to work for the insurance company. He knows who to call, what to say, and he has your best interest at heart. Plus, if you don't get paid, either does he. Van Sant Law, 855 GA Injury or vansantlaw.com.
Hey there, I'm Tara, owner and publisher of Our Town Monthly, Cobb's premier lifestyle magazine, where you'll find familiar faces, local voices, and community businesses like Truffles Vein Specialist.
Hi, I'm Holly with Truffles Vein Specialist. We have 5 locations across Atlanta, and even better, our West Cobb location is able to offer same-day appointments right now. We're proud to have been voted Best of Georgia in health and medical time and time again. We specialize in diagnosing and treating DVT or blood clots in the legs and venous insufficiency. If you have leg pain, swelling, heavy or achy legs, bulging varicose veins, spider veins, or pelvic pain, reach out. We'd love to help. We accept most health insurance plans and many treatments are covered. Plus, we offer free vein screenings at all locations. For more information, call us at 678-833-1444 or visit trufflesveinspecialist.com.
Wow, Holly, sign me up. We just love our advertising partners. And remember, our town is your town at Our Town Monthly.
Hey, Linda, it's Mark from the Safe House. It's a great day in America.
Congratulations, President Trump, on your decisive victory. And now, another news, the Safe House has the largest selection of safes in the Southeast. And through the end of the year, we're offering huge rebates on all Browning safes. But wait, there's more. All gun safes are sales tax free at Atlanta Safe House. Yes, sales tax free. And remember, folks, don't let a crackhead or an illegal move or deliver your safe. So come down to the showroom or go to AtlantaSafeHouse.com.
This is Jonathan Geller at D. Geller & Son Jewelers, where this weekend we're inviting you to our Takori holiday event, where you can shop an extended collection of engagement rings, wedding bands, and new fashion jewelry, all handcrafted in the USA. Takori's collection includes new and trending designs, classic styles with a signature touch, and incredible matching wedding bands. They're fully customizable, so you can try on all your options and have your dream ring handcrafted in time for a holiday proposal, all with the help of the expert team at D. Geller & Son. As always, we have the best loose diamond value in Atlanta, and we'll have an incredible selection, plus jewelers on site to get your new Takori ring ready on the spot. To make it even more special, you can get up to 24 months 0% APR financing or up to $1,000 back in Amex gift cards. Just like the holidays, this amazing event only comes once a year. So come join us at our Takori holiday event, only at D. Geller & Son, Atlanta's most trusted jeweler since 1939. In Atlanta, Kennesaw, and Sandy Springs. RSVP online at dgeller.com.
The Extra 106.3 app is your live connection to the station, streaming free across Georgia. But it's also loaded with all our original shows and podcasts. Listen to exclusive shows from Janelle King, Ben Burnett, and so many more. Grab the Extra 106.3 app now and start streaming.
Doug, Rhino, and Lowe's on the Morning Xtra 8 o'clock hour, brought to you by Central Heating and Air Conditioning, 770 Get Heat, centralheat.com. When you saw the last gasp of the Kamala Harris campaign, it should have been an indicator that the last gasp of woke politics was happening as well. And I especially want it, Lowe's, at the Pentagon. There's so many places. What am I saying?
Well, I'll say this. Imagine that you're 20 years old. All right. Let's say
that's how old my son is.
Joe Virgin River, or it's your son. They have spent the last part of 8 years where they were told all about woke politics. Woke politics, we're going to defund the police. We're going to open up the border. George Floyd didn't die of fentanyl. All the woke things you could possibly think of. You know what it created? It created the biggest surge in young people in Gen Z, where young men wildly were rooting for Trump, and young women, Gen Z, were plus 11 from where they had been in just 2022. Think about how these are people that spent from 12 to 20 years old being told about what you can say, what you can do, what you're not allowed to say, what you're not allowed to say. And by the time they're now going to hit 24, half their lives are going to have been spent in a Donald Trump America. You think we're bad. You think we're problematic. You think that we're mean to the communists. Yeah. Wait till you get a load of these people when they get more active, when they're out of school and they're 28, 32 years old. They're going to be 10 times what we are right now, because they'll have spent more than half their lives in this atmosphere where I don't care about your woke politics. We have just had a little bit of time with it. I've been on this planet for 40-some years, and I'm sitting back going, all right, I had 8 years worth of this. This is what it is. Think about it. If it's half your life, it's going to be totally different for these people.
Oh, it's going to be completely different, and it's a whole new era that's being brought in. And, just kind of talking about this in the meltdowns and what we're seeing, our rock, Matt Egger, who is one of the great guys behind the scenes here in programming, brought this to my attention about Justine Bateman. Had no idea what her politics were, but this is a really cool tweet. Decompressing from walking on eggshells for the past 4 years. In other words, not being able to speak about how she feels about certain things and being in Hollywood or being part of that. I think it's going to open up a lot of people.
I think, and you see that from a Hollywood perspective, right? She couldn't say what she wanted to say, or she couldn't vent about the things that she wanted to vent about because she was going to be blackballed. She was going to say, you can't work here. But regular, everyday people had that same issue. Yeah. They had that same fear that if I say anything, if I push back whatsoever, I'm going to be in that same boat as she is. Yeah. The fact that they're going to push me aside, they're going to find a reason to fire me because I've stood up.
All right, let's give this a try. This is one of our social media mavens. This is good, strong Bella. Now, what I'm pointing out, Bella, is that you have largely, as a young woman, grown up in the era of Trump, where you've had from 2016 to 2024 being told what you're not allowed to say or how you have to act and how you have to handle things. Has this influenced you in a certain way where you're like, no, I want to take all of this stuff and throw it out the window and just let's be very frank with people?
When I posted about Trump on the election day, I lost a lot of followers.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure.
I lost 200 followers that day.
Who cares?
But at this point in time in my life, I'm not afraid to speak my mind about it. And, you know, you can have civil conversations about things, but
they're not wanting to have a civil conversation with you.
No, they're not. And it's really disappointing because a lot of people are crying on social media, people I'm really good friends with, being like, if you voted Trump, something's wrong with you.
Did we lose?
Something's wrong with you and your microphone. I don't know what just happened there, but try to push in your XLR. Let me ask you this, too, though. Was there a time now that, you know, people are going to come with names and come with ideas and say you're racist, you're homophobic, you're this, you're that. How do you kids now? Because it used to be where they'd be like, no, I'm not, and then kind of back off and not say anything. Now do you just stand up and go, that's ridiculous? Do you want to talk about issues? You want to talk about why I feel the way I do or not?
Having a gay brother, for me, my family's very Republican, but it doesn't change the way we feel about.
Oh, we're losing. I tell you what, go move over to his mic instead.
We're gonna push you in there real quick.
Yeah, sorry about it.
Because I think what
you're saying is really valuable here. Because again, you know, we're talking to Bella, one of our social media ladies, and we're talking about this is the epitome of what we're talking about. Early 20s female, and this is how she's voting. Go ahead, but please continue with talking about your brother and
Do you feel like any of your rights have been removed? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I just think that we're going to be at the point where, because of young people like yourself, you're going to have gone through this era where, yes, because you posted something that was completely logical, 200 people stop following you. There's going to become a point where you're going to be so callous to this. You're not going to care what they have to say. In fact, by the time we get around to 2028, 2032, and they're like, but Bella, they're going to take away my rights. Well, you're going to go,
yeah,
exactly. You're going to mock them.
Yeah.
Oh,
well, this is like the Oprah show, and we got news for you. We're sending you to an internment camp. No, the reality. Let me ask you this, though, because the whole idea of social media has kind of changed, Bella, where people at one point used to get really scared that they were going to get blocked if they said anything that somebody may deem as, you know, if you say boy, they're going to be like, oh, that's transphobic or whatever it may be. Did you change the way you kind of approach social media, especially being in the business, where you look at it and go, yeah, I don't care what this says anymore. It's not going to get people off sides or draw them off sides anymore. We're not going to fall into this trap.
But only on one side. The left isn't afraid. It was the folks on the right. Yeah.
That's why we're both going to shave our heads, and you and I are both going to go get Handmaid's Tale dresses right after we're done here.
Can
I get one too?
Yes, y'all can have them.
I want to be a part of your crew.
Bella, thank you so much. We appreciate it.
You walked in at the perfect time for the conversation.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks for being a female.
We owe one man at CNN a badge of courage, a badge of honor for being brave enough to point out the madness. Next on Extra 1063 after a Fox News update.
It's time for the Bortz Report, exclusively on Atlanta's only conservative news and talk station, Xtra 106.3.
If I had a wish for you, I would wish that you had a friend like Bernie Marcus, the founder of Home Depot, who passed away last week, age 95. So no politics. I just want to tell you of some of my interactions with Bernie Marcus. Years ago, we're having dinner at Chop's restaurant. He loves to talk about health, asked how mine was. I mentioned that I had a PSA score that was a little high. He immediately offered to put me on a jet and fly me to the Netherlands to talk to a urologist over there that he had great confidence in. The PSA score went down, no need. Still down, by the way. He would tell me stories, early stories, about Home Depot, how he got it going. I love this one. I forget whether the first Home Depot store was on Memorial Drive or Buford Highway. But Bernie and his wife, Billy, they had a little game that they would play when the store first opened. Billy would go to Plymart. If you're old like me, you remember Plymart in Atlanta. And as she was walking around, if she saw a customer, for instance, looking at a circular saw, she would walk up and say, "How much do they want for that?" He'd read the price to her. She would immediately get to a payphone and call Bernie back at the Home Depot and tell him what Plymart was charging for that circular saw, and he would lower the price on the spot, so that Billy could go back to him and say, "Well, at Home Depot over on Memorial, they're selling that same saw for just blank blank." Bernie Marcus pledged to give away all of his money to charity. When he died, he had about $10 billion left in the Bernie Marcus Foundation. That's now in the hands of his sons and family members. They have 20 years to give it all away. What he did for Atlanta and Georgia is unmeasurable. A great man. I'll miss him dearly. So will the entire state. Neil Bortz, Xtra 106.3.
Get ready for Real Talk on the Janelle King Show, where we tackle kitchen table topics that are banned from family gatherings, but crucial for a strong republic. Tune in every Saturday at 3 p.m. and every Sunday for an encore episode at 9 a.m. And if you can catch us live, great. But if not, no worries. New podcasts drop every Tuesday on the Podcast Park right here on Extra 106.3 or wherever you get your podcasts. Join us for insightful conversations that matter.
Share all the holiday joy this season with the convenient shipping and enhanced network of the United States Postal Service. Visit USPS.com/holiday ride.
Electrify your senses with user-friendly technology and earth-friendlier power. Meet the all-electric 2024 Mercedes-Benz EQE 350 sedan. Satisfying for both drivers and passengers with innovations that only Mercedes-Benz can deliver. Experience the all-electric 2024 Mercedes-Benz EQE 350 sedan today. Lease one today for just $549 per month for 36 months with $66.93 due at signing. Exclusively from RBM of Atlanta in Sandy Springs. Contact RBM of Atlanta for details on this vehicle and many other models. And visit today to see how to qualify. Special lease rate available only to qualified customers exclusively from Mercedes-Benz Financial Service through RBM of Atlanta Sandy Springs through December 2nd, 2024. Excludes tax, tag, title, and Georgia Lemon Law fees. Contact RBM of Atlanta for details on this and other exciting offers. Visit rbmofatlanta.com or call us at 770-390-0700 for details.
WFOM and W292EV Marietta, a Dickey Broadcasting Station. The 9 a.m. hour is presented by Southern Exteriors. Quality and precision you can rely on.
A sweeping change is coming. CJ Papa, Fox News. That's what new border czar Tom Homan is promising.
Every morning I get up. Every morning I'm pissed off about what this administration did to the most secure border in my lifetime. So I'm going to go back and do what I can to fix it.
Homan earlier on Fox and Friends. Fox's Madeline Rivera has more on the decision from President-elect Donald Trump.
He made this announcement on Truth Social last night. Tom Homan will be joining the Trump administration in charge of our nation's borders, the border czar. There is nobody better at policing and controlling our borders. borders. Likewise, Tom Homan will be in charge of all deportation of illegal aliens back to their country of origin. Trump also shared this news with the New York Post last night. Trump told the Post, "I am honored to nominate Chairwoman Elise Stefanik to serve in my cabinet as U.S. Ambassador to the United Nations. Elise is an incredibly strong, tough, and smart America First fighter."
President-elect Donald Trump will be at the White House Wednesday to sit down with President Biden. One of the topics up for the discussion, the White House's response to the war in the Middle East. Fox's Matt Finn has more from Tel Aviv.
A Trump official tells me that the president-elect has spoken to multiple leaders here in the Middle East. The Trump team says that these leaders are telling our president-elect that they want the fighting to end, they want the killing to end, and they think he can be the one to do it. The most recent peace talks between the United States, Israel, and Hamas, they failed. And on the war front, at least 40 Palestinians reported dead after Israeli strikes in Gaza yesterday. The Palestinian Center for Human Rights says 24 people were killed in an Israeli attack on the residential building in the town of Jabalia. Israel says it hit a site where terrorists were operating.
Big Ben chimes on Armistice Day in London. 2-minute silence marks the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month when the guns of World War I stopped fighting. America's listening to Fox News.
If your approach to everyday aches and pains is to mask them, feel better for a few hours only to have the pain return and then repeat the cycle all over again, it's time to try Relief Factor. And the good news is Relief Factor makes that easy. Their 3-week quick start is just $19.95, less than $1 a day. Instead of masking pain, Relief Factor helps eliminate it. How? Well, its unique formula of ingredients helps support your body's response to inflammation. Relief Factor was developed by doctors. It's 100% drug-free, and for so many people, the results are game-changing, even life-changing. So give it a try. Right now, their 3-week quick start is just $19.95. Go to ReliefFactor.com or call 1-800-4-RELIEF. That's 1-800-4-RELIEF. See how in a few weeks or even days, Relief Factor can reduce your pain. When you feel better, life is just better. So don't mask pain. Fight it naturally with Relief Factor.
The news and talk I can trust. Extra 106.3.
Doug, Rhino, and Los on the Morning Extra on Extra 106.3. Welcome in. Happy Veterans Day. We certainly appreciate everybody who's served our great nation, but here's some folks that get left out oftentimes in Veterans Day, and that is the family of veterans, the family of our military men and women. They serve. They don't wear a uniform, but I promise you, they serve. I've seen guys that had children while we were out to sea when I was in the Navy, and their benefit, I guess, if you call it that, is they got to get off the aircraft carrier first, which is, good because there's 5,000 people, so it's going to take a while. So if you'd had a baby while you were deployed, they would let you off the aircraft carrier first to go down and meet your wife or meet your husband or whomever it is, and that was it. That's it. The present, the gift, the thank you. But it doesn't take much. And so I want to make sure we include those military families, those veteran families who served alongside the military member, the service member, because they oftentimes get looked over.
Growing up, obviously, I miss my dad when he went to work. Could you imagine if I knew that his job was so dangerous that I didn't know if he was going to come home? And not only that, his work also didn't end at 5 p.m. It ended at, 6 months, a year. Next time I got to see him, or if the first time I got to see him was at 1.5 years old. Obviously, I might not remember that then, but think about
the memories missed out on.
Yeah,
for the military member.
Yeah, the families are so important because they put up with a lot of this, and they take care of the home, they take care of the kids, they take care of them, they send packages all the time to the loved ones, they keep them going. They make phone calls. So yeah, everybody who's involved, family member wise. Thank you. Thank you for the sacrifice that you've made for this country as well.
Scott Munn, the guy that I co-host the Warrior Alliance podcast for Extra 106.3, he's got a great saying, and it says, "Not all who serve wear the uniform." And I just think that captures everything. I think it says it so well.
So last year you forgot your clubs at the Veterans Day Golf Club tournament. This year you forgot yourself. What's next year?
I don't know. I don't know. Getting
You're
worse
just going to cancel it?
Yeah, I guess so.
For everybody else?
Yeah, no way, man. I want everybody else to be out there. No, we had a great weekend in Charleston. It was just something we'd planned before they'd ever announced the date on the Veterans Day tournament. But yeah, it was fun to go over, see my son. My mom went, and my wife's mother and father went. So it was a contingent of us, going over to watch the Charleston Cougars beat the South Carolina Gamecocks in baseball at the Joe, the little minor league stadium there at Charleston, which is a great field. It was just a really fun weekend.
It looked beautiful, too.
Yeah, it was amazing. It was so much fun, and the weather was near perfect, and we just couldn't ask for more. And so that's what took me away.
Did politics creep in with the in-laws or anyone, or everybody was just like, we're here for Jacob and watch this game?
Yeah,
Good. That's nice.
I mean, maybe once, maybe twice, but nothing got out of control, nothing got heated or anything like that. I mean, everybody was, for the most part, everybody's on the same page. But, so that, it didn't. I just think so many people are ready to do something else than yell and fight and scream. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And look, I think we are too. We want to see this country be turned around and pointed in the right direction. And it's going to take a while for that to happen, but everybody wants what's best for the country. Back to the golf tournament. Well, you're right.
We'll
yes,
revisit that a few months down the road.
Yes. I think most Americans want what's best for the country. You're right. There is certainly a portion of the country, maybe it's 30% or whatever that number is, which is too big for my liking, but that don't love the country. You got the celebrities saying they're leaving for Canada.
Bye.
Adios. We clearly don't want you. We don't listen to you. We don't value your opinion.
Yeah.
There's nothing that you say that has any bearing on my life. It has, it registers as zero value or negative value for that matter most time.
That's what's great about, woke ass Delta. It'll fly you wherever you want, whatever communist country you want to go to.
Exactly right.
Have a good time.
Jump on board, man.
Yeah.
Jump on board.
Look, I think all the queers for Palestine should head right over.
Dude, you need to get there quickly.
They'll be at the airport with signs for you. Hey, welcome,
absolutely.
Queers.
Yeah, something tells me.
Yeah. Oh, maybe not.
Nobody's. I don't think there will be a mass exodus.
No.
Although, nobody's setting themselves on fire like Rob Reiner said.
Thank God, though.
Yeah, no.
That would have really been upsetting. To sit here and make these ridiculous statements that you're going to kill yourself, you're going to light yourself on fire. Stop it, because it's really dangerous. It's really scary, man.
Republicans don't do that.
No, of course not. Because we're not mentally insane like these people.
I think we're all concerned about the direction of the country if you stay on the path with Kamala Harris. If that
but you know what I would do?
A contingent, we would have continued to fight. We would have continued to work hard the next time around, just like after 2022 when we were disappointed.
Yeah.
What did we do? We continued to work. We continued to talk. We continued to convince. We continued to be on message. This has to change. And finally, it got to that tipping point where it did have to change.
I would quietly move to Argentina or Ecuador or somewhere I wanted to go that I wouldn't sit here and go on Twitter and be like, hey, guys, this is where I'm going. If I was really that upset about something or the direction this country was going in and I thought to myself, I can't live in this country, then I'd probably go ahead and make the move without anybody ever knowing it. But yeah, I'm with you. I've already said it and I'll say it again. I love this state. I love this country, and I will dig my heels into the soil and protect myself and my family every step of the way. And I will keep communism and socialism away from us, and I feel like we dodged a huge bullet by getting rid of these lunatics on the left that thought socialism is a good idea at this point.
Oh, my Lord. I can't wrap my head around how ignorant that is and how ignorant it sounds. Scott Jennings from CNN, he's the only one over there. And there may be a couple more. I tell you that. There's a couple. There's a couple people at CNN that actually have some common sense, and their message always rises to the top, because you're surrounded by 5 other people who sound completely crazy. So all you have to do is have a shred of common sense, and you're going to be the rock star at CNN, just like Scott Jennings is.
If you look at the arc of the Biden presidency, he was in really good shape until August of 2021. When Afghanistan happened, he went under 40, she went under 40, and they really lived there until the end of the presidency. He's still there.
Why? I'll tell you why.
Because he ran and told us that the adults were back in charge, and that was the opposite.
Yeah, they
of
were
that.
because Donald Trump was a child.
And you know what else?
Yeah.
And you know what else?
The
fact that they wouldn't give these 13 service members' families the time of
dude.
Time of day,
I'm sorry, but Donald Trump hates veterans. He called them suckers and losers. He did. He absolutely, despite, he has his whole life. He has his entire life.
I know you're super emotional. I just,
of course
I'm telling you the political reality is that when they made that decision.
It doesn't matter, but you don't admit that Donald Trump hates veterans. You don't admit it. You just deny a man, Chief John Kelly, a Marine. You say he lied.
You're still campaigning.
You say he lied.
He did lie.
John Bolton has now confirmed it.
Never be. You wish.
The political reality is when they made that decision and everyone realized, oh my gosh, these aren't the competent adults that we were promised.
Donald Trump.
And then when you pile on top of it the decisions that made inflation worse, it was a compounding interest of political crap over time that they could never get out of. And that's how she lost the race.
He's having a meltdown.
No, he is, totally.
A complete meltdown.
Complete meltdown. And I love when Scott Jennings says, dude, you're still campaigning.
Yeah, you're still campaigning.
Which is exactly right, dude.
Or calm down.
Yeah, dude.
You're a little emotional.
Let's talk about actually what happened, but they can't because they're so emotional about it. And that's the thing when he talked about, he called the military, he hates veterans.
No, he didn't.
Suckers and losers.
No, he didn't.
John Bolton in the Hill. They're confirming. John Bolton says, no, he didn't say that.
No, but see, they've been fed these lies, and that's why I don't blame the.
They buy their own BS, though, dude.
Of course they do.
How do you buy your own crap?
Because they've been indoctrinated into this belief for so long that even when they get a job at CNN, they've already been part of the faculty lounge. They've already been indoctrinated through school, colleges, and others that allowed people to tell Jews they couldn't even go to their own schools. This is a really, really sick group of people. Every single Democrat, I will group you in if you want to continue to play this game. You're the ones who have started wars in Ukraine and continue to fund them and then bring warmongers on like Dick Cheney, John Kelly, and of course his daughter Liz Cheney. Add her to the bunch that want anything that they can do to keep power and keep money flowing into the military-industrial complex. They'll say anything to get what they want. John Kelly's a liar. That's all it is. He's upset that he got caught. He's upset that he got fired. He's upset that Donald Trump said, you're a horrible leader. You're behind a desk when we have real soldiers who will go out on the field and all of you are directing them to die. No, let's not forget who the ones were, Tug, that didn't respect our veterans. The ones that looked at their watches when the bodies of our soldiers came home. The ones that said, not one soldier has died during my term, or that not one person is in a combat zone in this country. You want to talk about the disrespect of our military?
Unbelievable. And it was funny, the reaction to those when all those military members sitting in war zones filmed themselves going, where are we? What are we doing here then? Like, have you completely forgotten about us? And then to piggyback on that, the craziness that continues as a slap in the face of our men and women in uniform. And I'm reluctant to even talk about the story, but I feel like it needs to be discussed because you have to understand what you're up against. Columbia University, they're doing a protest of Veterans Day. They want to reclaim this day from the U.S.-Israel war machine in the name of Palestinians. So this is, as the New York Post reports, an unsanctioned group of Columbia University people, apartheid divest people, circulating flyers for this event for today. Veterans Day is to honor patriotism, love of country, and all those things. And yet they want to reject it. They want to call out American veterans by saying that they're part of some war machine, some thing that doesn't deserve praise, and honor their sacrifice. And I have a hard time wrapping my head around that. But you're okay with not allowing Jews to go to class.
Yeah.
For them to be frightened to be able to walk across campus to their class. So you want to protest our men and women in uniform, our veterans, but that's what you stand for? Get out of here, dude. You've got no moral ground whatsoever. And you should take all of this, pack it up, and leave. You should leave with those clowns that said, I'm moving if Trump is elected. Please go. America will be better off if you're gone.
You know what, Tug, we talked about this, on Friday. when I decide to move into a neighborhood, I look for, is this a school I want my son to go to? Sure. Are these the neighbors I want? Is this the kind of zoning I want? For Hiawassee, the reason I love that area so much is there's no zoning. If I want to build a restaurant on my property, I build a restaurant on my property. If I want to do whatever I want on my property, I want to burn. Fine. I want to shoot my guns. Fine. Nobody bothers me. That's why I moved there. Like-minded people. If you want like-minded people, you got a few choices. Number one, you can go to California and be delusional and destroy that state the way it's being destroyed. You can go to New York, although it might be tougher now. They're starting to get red. But
Buddy, are they ever? God bless New York. I was so proud of them.
But find the spot where you fit. If you want, I mean, most of them should be in mental institutions. That's where you fit. But if you are common sense and you don't want to live by the rules of a red state, move to a blue state. If you don't want to live by the Constitution, which is what you are, you're living under the Constitution, you don't like it, move to a place that accepts socialism. Go to Cuba, go somewhere, Venezuela, go where they are going to take advantage of you, throw you in food lines, and give you everything you want.
I don't know that any of them will do that. They're going to instead celebrate Martyrs' Day. They won't stand. They reject the holiday and refuse to celebrate it. And they will stand instead in celebration of honor, martyrs. But they end it this way. I find this interesting, that the way they end it, because I don't believe this. This was the Hail Mary, the saving grace. See, we said this at the end. Nobody's going to read it. Nobody's going to believe it. They want to honor patriotism, love of country, and the sacrifice of martyrs. Those don't go together. Those things don't go together. Those are like oil and water. They couldn't be further from going together. But that's what they're doing on Veterans Day. And here's the deal. We are not. We reject that. We refuse that. And the beauty, Rhino, is that America has rejected that. America, last Tuesday, rejected every bit of that nonsense. And they rejected it overwhelmingly. Did you even see another thing? You're talking about New York turning up and having a really good turnout. California too, man. Mm-hmm. I know California went for Kamala. I get it. Yeah. But if you look at the inside, away from the coasts of California, there is a huge red streak down the center of California.
The reality is that you are always going to have enough Democrats to almost win an election, or if they don't steal it, almost win or win an election. If they are good and they're talking about issues that people care about. When you don't, that's a problem. And that's what happened in California. That's what happened in New York. When your governor is telling you that they have a great economic plan and they're $83 billion in debt, homeless veterans are sleeping in the streets while they take care of illegal aliens and put them up in hotels, all these things do become relevant to people who are going to vote. They do look at it, whether you like it or not. They don't always follow in your footsteps and say, yeah, I'm still for all the illegals. Not when they see someone laying on the street, because the reality is not every veteran's white. Because I know the Democrats are racist, and they think that, everybody who comes across the border, you're just anti-Hispanic. No, you're the racist, because it's not just people who are from Mexico coming across the border. They're coming from all over the world. They group everybody, they do these things, and they ignore what the real people of this country want, and that's where you're going to get that problem. Stay there. They can keep it blue if they want. They will. Unfortunately for California, the people who don't want to live there anymore, they should move. They should move to Texas, Georgia, Alabama, wherever, Florida. Florida's a great place right now for them.
A lot of people have. And it's funny you bring up the different people being in the military, man. I served with so many different people from so many different places. It was unbelievable, and we all had one common goal. It didn't matter if you were cleaning the toilets, like I did a whole bunch, or you were doing something noteworthy. If you were part of the missile firing team, the fire controlman, or if you were part of the navigation team, whatever you were doing, everybody had one goal. It was to fight the ship and protect the ship. And ultimately, that meant fight for America and defend America. My best friend in the world, that I met him in boot camp. He was my best man in my wedding. Jason Perez lives in San Antonio, Texas. A dear friend of mine from Goose Creek, South Carolina, Tyrone Calhoun, greatest guy I've ever met in my whole life. None of us ever worried about what we looked like.
Right.
We All we cared about was getting the job done.
That's it.
It didn't matter what it took. If we had obstacles, we figured out a way around them. If we didn't have enough stuff, we were like MacGyver. We figured out a way. And those are two of the greatest sailors that I ever served with.
The best part about military and sports is if someone called me Chewbacca because I'm hairy, I laugh it off.
Right.
I laugh it off. It's a great nickname.
It is.
And, if you call me another name or call me short, do I get all upset? Do you know how many times someone's called me short? And I'm just like, yep, that's true. Actually, 4'10", not 5'3".
Seriously. Get it right, pal.
Yeah.
So
I
silly.
embrace it, laugh it off, and we're still friends.
It's the way it should be. Sonia Sotomayor is in the crosshairs of the left. Oh, my. Next on the Morning Extra on Extra 106.3, Tug, Rhino in front, office loose until 10, then the Glenn Beck program. Clay Travis and Buck Sexton. And the local afternoon show with the camera 3 until 6 had a few calls this weekend. I still owe some people some calls. Kimmer was just playing golf. He was just off for the day. He will be back this afternoon at 3 on Extra 106.3.
Stream Clay Travis and Buck Sexton, Glenn Beck, Fox News, and even NASCAR on Sundays, anywhere on the Extra 106.3 app. Download the app now and get 24/7 access to the live stream, the latest news, and everything you need to know about Atlanta's only conservative talk station. Download the Extra 106.3 app for Apple or Android and check out even more great original content at thepodcastpark.com.
Hey, it's Rhino, and elections end. It's over. But you know what doesn't? Emergencies. They never end. There's always a hurricane, a tornado, a really bad lightning storm, maybe something turning over and contaminating the water supply, a building catching on fire with chemicals. Are you prepared for any of those emergencies? Well, I hope so. I hope you and your family will be safe in any kind of emergency. But if not, and if you're worried about it, well, I got the place for you. True Prep in Marietta on Cobb Parkway. Your one-stop shop for emergency preparedness supplies. There's a lot still going on. There's a lot still to come. You need to make sure that you have freeze-dried food, water filtration, first aid kits. If you like AR-15s, they got a huge selection of AR-15s, but they have all the firearms, firearm accessories, and ammo at the lowest prices around. You got to go check them out today. And if you're new to prepping, well, that's the great part. They're locally owned and operated. Matt, Joey, both Georgia Tech engineers, Amy's there. Everybody that's there is willing and want to help you to make sure that you and your family are safe. So go check them out. They also do great workshops, like the Intro to Emergency Preparedness workshop that they do all the time, the Get Out bag, the Bug Out bag, the Get Home bag. They do everything right there, even a Stop the Bleed class, and they care about the community. Go check it out. They have everything listed on their website at trueprep.com. That's TRU prep.com. Prepare today for a worry-free tomorrow with our friends over at True Prep.
Get ready for unfiltered conversations on The Janelle King Show, where we tackle the topics that you won't hear at your family gatherings, but they're absolutely crucial for a strong republic. Don't miss us live every Saturday at 3 p.m. and every Sunday at 9 a.m. right here on Extra 106.3. But if you can't tune in, that's okay. You can catch new episodes every Tuesday on the Podcast Park or wherever you prefer to get your podcasts. Join us for these discussions, and I can't wait to meet you there.
Millions of guys suffer from erectile dysfunction. That's 1 in 4 men. And I can tell you, I'm one of them.
If you or someone you know suffer from ED, Peyronie's disease, or PE, here's 38-year emergency room doctor and founder of Total Body Therapy of Georgia, Dr. Eric Deal.
Patients who enter my office are often frustrated, hopeless, depressed, and embarrassed. I understand the problem, and I'm going to help you fix it. There are lots of competitors that don't have the credentials that I have. When you go to other clinics, you're not going to see a board-certified physician with the experience that I have. When you come to our clinic, you're going to see me. There's just not one therapy that can solve these complex issues. I'll do a complete history and physical prior to any treatment that we use. Take it from me, Dr. Deal. When it's not hard, it's really hard.
Call Dr. Deal for your free one-on-one evaluation and resolve your ED, Peyronie's, or PE issues. Total Body Therapy of Georgia, 404-777-1911, 404-777-1911. Online at stopmyed.com.
Hey, it's Mike with Atlanta Painting Company. And this fall, we invite you to transform your home. Our expert team brings color to life with top quality paints and flawless finishes, and leading the industry with our color consultants. Whether it's a fresh coat of paint for one room or an entire exterior makeover, the Atlanta Painting Company has you covered. So, trust the local pros for reliable, professional service when you need to revive your home or business. Find us at atlantapaintingcompany.com or call us at 1-800-PAINTING. That's atlantapaintingcompany.com. The Atlanta Painting Company, the painters you can trust.
Have you thought about securing your hard-earned assets? Do you have concerns about the future? Protecting assets is crucial, and that's where Nelson Elder Care Law excels. As a family-owned and family-focused firm, we provide absolute assurance and peace of mind through our trademarked Absolute Protection Trust, tailored services in estate planning, probate administration, Medicaid crisis solutions, guardianship, and conservatorship. Our goal is to exceed your expectations and empower informed decisions. Visit NelsonElderCareLaw.com for asset protection and peace of mind.
You know the old expression, I love it when a plan comes together? Well, with our First Liberty Notes, this has been so true. Hello, I'm Brant Frost, founder of First Liberty Building and Loan. You hear about our family's company all the time right here on this station. For over 30 years, we've been the local lender who said yes when the big banks say no. A couple of months ago, we opened up our First Liberty Notes program to Main Street investors just like you, and the response has been just incredible. Folks from airline pilots to physicians to even pastors are now earning 8 to 13% interest rates while helping to fuel the growth of local small businesses. If you're a qualified investor with a minimum of $25,000, you too could be earning 8 to 13% interest. We'd love to have you join our First Liberty family today. Go to firstlibertyga.com and see if our First Liberty Notes are right for you. Go to firstlibertyga.com. That's firstlibertyga.com.
First Liberty Notes are not obligations of or guaranteed by any financial institution and are not secured by any collateral. They are not FDIC insured or guaranteed by any government agency. You could lose money. SEC accredited investor status must be verified. Securities not offered in any jurisdiction in which it is unlawful.
The stories that matter to you. These are your Georgia headlines. Presented by RBM of Atlanta, your Mercedes-Benz connection since 1964.
Good morning. Here are your top stories in the state of Georgia for today, Monday, November 11th. Happy Veterans Day. A Cumming drugstore that has been serving the area for over 70 years caught fire late last night. The Goodson Drug Company erupted in flames around 7 p.m. and firefighters responded with 11 units to contain the blaze. Battalion Chief Scott Kennedy said the firewall inside the store likely helped prevent the fire from spreading to other buildings. The cause of the fire is still under investigation. Authorities are searching for a man involved in a shooting late last night at an off-campus apartment complex near the University of West Georgia. The shooting occurred in the parking lot of the Reserve Carrollton Apartments. The victim was rushed to the hospital where he succumbed to his injuries. The shooter escaped after abandoning the car they were driving and fled on foot. Law enforcement is continuing the search for the shooter. And in sports, the Atlanta Falcons fell to 6-4 on the season after the New Orleans Saints snapped a 7-game skid to beat the Falcons 20-17 yesterday. Koo missed 3 field goal attempts for the first time in his career in the loss. With your headlines, Scott Rhino, Trump 1063.
9 o'clock hours brought to you by Southern Exteriors. If you know someone in need of a new roof, Southern Exteriors is doing a Home for the Holidays roof replacement. And if you have that name in front of you, go to southernexteriors.co and nominate them for this free roof. If they're in a place financially where they just can't afford it and it needs to be done, southernexteriors.co, and nominate a family there. And I hope you'll do it. It's just so terrific that they're stepping up, that they're doing something great for the community, and we're certainly grateful to have them as advertisers here on Xtra 1063, along with all of our advertisers. Anytime you hear us talking about advertisers like Rhino was just talking about True Prep, go over there, support them. If you need something that they offer, give them the first opportunity to earn your business. We're not asking you to just commit blindly. No, go over there, shop with them, let them earn your business. If you don't need whatever it is that they're offering, then just keep them in mind when you do. That's how this whole thing works. They share your values. They support this radio station. Without them, there's no us. So thank you so much to True Prep and to Howard Brothers and to Southern Exteriors and all the folks that support Xtra 1063. Sonia Sotomayor. Now, I know there's a few, actually, that are on the federal bench, the Supreme Court, that have even considered stepping down. And now, if one of them does, holy cow, that would mean Donald Trump gets to add someone to the Supreme Court, and the left would lose their ever-loving mind.
I've been all for taking what the Democrats said they were going to do, stacking the court, doing all that,
right.
and I'm all for it. So
I
all
bet
you
they
Democrats,
aren't all of a sudden.
Wait, why?
Right?
You sure?
Yeah, I feel pretty sure.
I think we should take some of the things they told us to do and do it.
Filibuster, get rid of it.
Here's the problem. Bernie Sanders is coming out to be, look, he's been honest with who he is.
Yeah.
From day one, he's saying, I'm a socialist. This is what I want. He doesn't hide from what he really wants to do to this country, fundamentally changing the way we run this country. It's a disaster, which is why I think people kind of skew away from him. Yeah. But the reality is he talks the truth, and he sees both sides. Democrats have been calling for ridiculous things because they feel so powerful and empowered because, well, they never really earned their spots.
Yeah, right. They feel invincible because you're right. They don't have to earn it. They don't have to fight for it. They don't have to do what it takes to be put in a particular job, like Kamala Harris.
Yeah, and the reality is the smart ones that will sit back and go, hold on, do you see how this is going to backfire on us? Do you understand what you're trying to do? Because this was one of those things where Bernie Sanders looked and said, I understand what you're saying. We want to get who we can and appoint them in before they die. And the fact that they've already put Sonia Sotomayor onto this deathbed that, she's got diabetes. She's probably going to die. And like, how disgusting are Democrats, by the way? But the reality is, if you don't think, because we still have the House, if you don't think that the Senate is going to be a fight, because you're never going to be able to get anybody done, they're going to go through everybody you try to, try to throw up on the court, and they're going to hold it off all the way till January, and then guess who gets to appoint them? And then when the Republicans have the House, the Senate, and the presidency, you're not going to like who they pick.
No, you're definitely not, which means that you listening right now will. We will, which is great. Because really, when it comes down to it, the Supreme Court is such a valuable, valuable tool. It is so important that our Supreme Court has a conservative point of view, a traditional point of view. That way, the country stays traditional. That's what the American people have said they wanted. They voted overwhelmingly to say we want to have borders. We want to have an economy that works for every American. And we want a Supreme Court that does the work of the American people by and large. And that's what we've gotten. And I expect that if Sonia Sotomayor were to step down at some point, that Donald Trump's going to have an incredible replacement. And I look forward to that replacement. Absolutely. Because they will dictate or be a part of decision-making for years in the future. Let's say Clarence Thomas wants to step down. Yeah. And I love Clarence Thomas. Me too. I don't want him to step down, but at the same time, much like the Democrats are thinking with Sonia Sotomayor, is it time because you have 2 years for Donald Trump to get whatever Supreme Court justice put through to be on that bench for the next 30 years of this country.
She has been flat out honest with every single person there. I'm 70 years old. I'm perfectly healthy. I am not stepping down. So, once again, Nancy Pelosi and all the powers to be, the disgusting socialist communists, are trying to replace someone who doesn't need to be replaced or doesn't even want to be replaced. They're turning on their own people left and right. We've destroyed the Democrat Party. We have absolutely destroyed them. And we didn't only do it once. Donald Trump destroyed Joe Biden in 90 minutes. 90 minutes, he destroyed that man and let the entire world know the left has been lying to you. This man is mentally I don't want to say anything bad because he's declining. That's it. He's declining mentally, and he's not good for this country. We shouldn't have a president who can't even figure out how to get out of a paper bag at this point.
Or can't walk in the sand, as we saw this weekend.
So then all of a sudden they lose that. Oh, you were right the whole time. Then you install a candidate, and then you make her in charge of picking a VP, and she picks the worst VP in the world.
Her only choice was that one. Oh, and she got it wrong.
It was, yeah, exactly. That was one thing. And she got it wrong because she's been held hostage by her own party. Democrats have held themselves hostage. They turn on each other left and right. Look what they're doing. Now Bernie Sanders is the bad guy because he's putting up the going, wait, guys, you're dumb. You're dumb. You don't understand what's going to happen.
How do you not realize why we lost this so badly? I don't agree with anything Bernie Sanders says or does. I have zero agreement with him. But I do believe he's an honest man. I do believe that about him.
Oh, I do too.
I think he's wrong in all of his politics, but I think he's an honest man. And I can at least respect him because he tells me who he is.
Yeah.
And he never tries to hide it. And he says, this is what I believe. Though I disagree with it, I can respect him as much as I disagree with him.
Yeah, I mean, he's like my crazy Jewish uncle is exactly who he is. I've had plenty of them where I'm like, you need to, like, you're a little bit over the top. And, you know, a lot of that comes from a lot of history with the Holocaust. I mean, I know that nobody wants to hear it, but Jews are the most oppressed people in history, and 6 million of us were eliminated because of people like Kamala Harris and the communist idea. So the reality is, I don't know how Bernie Sanders goes that route, but I do appreciate his honesty. And I appreciate his common sense on this, because it doesn't make any sense whatsoever. As a Democrat strategist, if I'm going to put on that cap and decide, I guess I'd have to put on a wig and makeup if I was going to decide to be a Democrat strategist at this point. But I would go, why? Whoa. Why are you calling for this? I don't care what you think. Why are you trying? Because the idea behind it is, well, what if they appoint Kamala Harris to the Supreme Court? They're trying to give her a consolation prize?
Yes,
she
that's
couldn't
DEI. That's DEI in a nutshell.
This woman has demonstrated she doesn't understand the Constitution, understand this country at all. If I'm Trump, I'd love to play the game and go, you know what? I do agree with a lot of the policies that Kamala Harris put forth, and I'm going to take those into effect. And I think, you know what? You're right. We're going to end the filibuster, and we're going to pack the court.
Yeah.
I would love to see the reaction from the left on that.
Even if he just floated it as a joke, because we don't want that.
Of course not.
Because someday we're going to be out of power, right? I mean, it's coming. It's coming. Just get ready for it. It's coming our way. We've been out of power for the last 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the thing. You always want to do what's best for the country, even if in the moment it's not what's best for you politically. And Joe said something, Board Up Joe said something in my ear, which is exactly right, that we didn't bring up, in the fact that Ruth Bader Ginsburg, the fact that she didn't leave the Supreme Court early enough.
Thank God.
Then, it worked out in our favor.
She shouldn't have to.
Yeah, right. Well, no, of course. But they're burned by that. That's why they are so concerned about Sotomayor.
Well, that's why they turn on their people all the time. I mean, it's going to continue that way. They think they have an ultimate goal of how to turn this into a communist and socialist ideology and continue to fundamentally rechange this country to where it's no longer a republic, to where it is a socialist, a utopia, because that's what they think socialism is a utopia. They think communism can be a utopia, and they think they can do it better than everyone else. They can't even run their own campaign. They even installed their candidates and fell apart. They have tried everything. But you know what? The Republic is going to survive because of the American people, and really common sense American people. They could call you dumb. They could call you hillbillies, but they know the truth. They're afraid of us because we are a lot smarter than them, and we care about our country a lot more than they do.
And we got Amy Coney Barrett because of Ruth Bader Ginsburg, if you recall. We got a conservative justice. So,
pretty happy with that choice.
Absolutely. And so but there is that part. Again,
I hope they make the misstep.
Well, look,
I hope they do. I hope they make her retire.
It seems like
there's no way anybody's going to vote to have this ready until inauguration.
I don't think they're going to be able to turn it around. I do not expect, but I do expect them to pressure her.
Of course,
I do. Just like they pressured Joe Biden.
She ain't going to fall for it, though.
We'll see.
I think she's smarter than them. You know why? Because I think she sees it going, if I give up the seat, you understand, there's a good chance we may never get the seat back. Like, no, I'm going to be the level-headed person here. I'm the smarter one out of all of you, and I'm going to sit back, and I'm going to keep this position, and then hopefully I can last another 8 years, because she's only 70 years old and in perfect health. You don't think she's going to last till 78 years old? I don't think she's out there drinking and smoking all day, trying to kill herself.
Be out there just partying with Sonia Sotomayor. She's just out there smoking Pall Malls.
And just hanging out at Diddy parties.
Drinking vodka.
Hanging out with Pelosi.
Yeah, hanging out with Pelosi probably more likely.
Oh, God.
But yeah, no, I just, we'll see how it all shakes out. But I'm not in favor of pressuring Clarence Thomas whatsoever.
No.
But I bet he's considering it because I think he's wise enough. I think he is considering it.
But it should be his decision.
Yeah, of course it should. Yeah,
because I don't think any of us, and we may get to that point where, like, if he was really, really sick and we're like, hey, now might be a good time, but that's your decision to make, sir.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
Your decision.
Yeah, and because he's my
Your
favorite
Honor.
Supreme Court justice, maybe of all time.
Well, you're a racist.
Yeah, clearly. Clearly I am. Goodness gracious. 404-741-1230 if you'd like to jump into the conversation. Final segment of the show, the bonus hour. 9 o'clock hour brought to you by Southern Exteriors. They're doing the roof replacement for the holidays, for Christmas. If you know a family that is in need of a replacement for their roof but can't afford it, reach out to Southern Exteriors at southernexteriors.co. Nominate them at southernexteriors.co. They're going to pick a very, very lucky family and replace their roof for them for Christmas. southernexteriors.co. When we come back, the Saturday Night Live skit following the election opened in agony and closed really funny. Surprisingly.
Maybe I got footage of Kimmer.
Oh, yes. Let's see if we can't work that in there, too. Yes.
I got audio of Kimmer hitting on a woman.
From this past Friday's Veterans Day golf tournament. It's going to be a fun final segment of the Morning Extra.
What will happen on day one after the new president is sworn in? Executive orders will fly. Try to come up with some ideas in what those executive orders will be.
Catch Neil's commentary every day on Extra 106.3 and the Extra app.
What if I told you that you could get the engagement ring and wedding bands of your dreams in up to 10 grand in your hand? Jaron Solomon here from Solomon Brothers Jewelers to announce our incredible Takori Bridal event, November 22nd through the 24th at all 3 Solomon Brothers locations. During this event, we will be offering up to $10,000 cash back on your Takori engagement ring and wedding bands, or 3 years interest-free financing. Your choice. Takori will be bringing all new, never-before-seen, handcrafted pieces that you are sure to love. And we're not stopping there. For the first time ever, Solomon Brothers will be including GIA-certified diamonds during this promotion. So put some diamonds on your fingers and up to 10 grand in your hand during our Takori Bridal event, November 22nd through the 24th at all 3 locations, Buckhead, Alpharetta, and Sharpsburg. Shop us online at SolomonBrothers.com and on Instagram at Solomon Brothers.
There are crazies on the road. Who knows where they're all going, but if one of them hits you, don't take care of it on your own. Call my friend David Van Sant. He is the lawyer that used to work for the insurance company. The team at Van Sant Law knows who to call, what to say, and will make sure you get what you deserve and what the insurance company doesn't want to pay for. They have your best interest at heart and will take care of everything. If you don't get paid, they don't get paid. My advice, save Van Sant Law in your phone. Today, 855-GA-INJURY, vansantlaw.com.
If you notice any cracks in your foundation, they are not going to go away. They need to be addressed as soon as possible to reduce additional costs that come with repair. Ramjack is the best company in the industry for repairing your foundation. We have the highest quality products in the nation. So, if you are experiencing foundation problems, please contact us at ramjack.com/Atlanta or call us at 770-502-8881. That's 770-502-8881.
Central Heating and Air Conditioning wants you to know the start of the new season is the perfect time to ensure your home's comfort for the fall and winter. Don't wait like most people do to have your HVAC system serviced. Your home should have maintenance twice a year. Maintenance helps keep your furnace running at peak efficiency and extends the life of your equipment. Turn to the experts for your system's maintenance at 770-GET-HEAT or centralheat.com. Central Heating and Air Conditioning can fix what ails your house and possibly your family with home ventilation and air quality products. Central has packages designed around health using variable speed, fresh air ventilation, air cleaners, air purifiers, dehumidifiers, and more. Carrier products, carrier warranty, and carrier peace of mind. Central Heating and Air Conditioning, your Atlanta carrier expert since 1947 and one of the few second-generation locally owned HVAC companies in Atlanta. Call 770-GET-HEAT or go to centralheat.com.
We're smart, we care. We're Central Heating and Air.
Are you the type of consumer that likes to do your research before you choose a company? Well, then you need to join Dan Watkins, Chris Lolamy, and myself, Jim Niarchos, every Saturday morning at 9 for the All Four Seasons Home Show. We only vet local businesses with a proven history of integrity, competence, and solid customer service. The All Four Seasons Home Show helps you make a good consumer decision, save money, and not get ripped off. You can also follow our podcasts on Apple, Google, and Spotify. The All Four Seasons Home Show, Saturday mornings at 9, right here on Extra 106.3.
Life takes a toll on our bodies. No way around it. Whether it's sitting hours on end at your computer or working a physical job, over time, your body pays the price. There is, however, an effective way to turn back the clock on pain. Relief Factor. Developed by doctors, Relief Factor helps support your body's response to inflammation. The difference, instead of masking pain, Relief Factor helps eliminate it for good. And it's 100% drug-free. If the pains that come with living a full life are affecting you, do as so many others have. Turn back the clock on pain with Relief Factor. Their 3-week quick start is just $19.95, less than $1 a day. When you feel good, it's amazing how much more you get out of life. So visit ReliefFactor.com or call 1-800-4-RELIEF. That's 1-800-4-RELIEF. Try it for only $19.95. While we can't stop aging, not yet, we can stop pain. Turn back the clock with Relief Factor.
Live and local news talk continues at 3 p.m. with Kimmer, Pete, and Flounder. It's the Kimmer Show, only on Extra 106.3 and the Extra app.
My phone started blowing up. My email blew up. Social media. It was just a steady dose of where's Kimmer? Why is Kimmer not on the radio? Have y'all done something terrible to Kimmer and his show in the afternoon on Extra? We're going to be so furious with you. No.
Yes.
He went and played golf. That's all the man did. He got the day off. Jimmy Fallon filled in. He went and played golf and had a good time. That's what happened. Settle down.
Yeah.
Good Lord. I mean, it was nonstop. My phone was like, ding, 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 ding.
Really?
It was back, yeah, like
I knew
3
it
or
too.
4 o'clock, yeah, on Friday. And then through the weekend, the voicemails, the emails.
Really?
I mean, they were just nonstop. I get it. I love Kimmer, too. Everybody loves Kimmer. Everybody loves him. And he will be back on the radio on Extra 106.3 at 3 p.m. Settle your nerves.
Maybe. We haven't heard from him yet.
That's right.
No, listen, this is what I love about all you people. You're so passionate about this product. You've made us the best and fastest growing station in Atlanta, and we continue to do that. So thank you. And keep spreading the word. Don't stop. But we have these great events like that. And yeah, as soon as Kimmer got off, and it kind of got me too. I'm driving home, and I'm like, oh, I miss Kimmer. Because we finished up about 2:45. And so I was like, oh, are you guys going to do the show? And like, no, right? Like, you guys are a little too drunk. And actually, those guys didn't even get drunk. I was kind of mad. I was hoping to get drunk with those dudes. But they were, let me tell you, this was one of the best events. I'm really sad you missed it.
Yeah, me too.
Because it was a lot of fun. We had Flounder and Veronica were right behind us with Mike Arond, our engineer who makes sure everything runs well here. And so we were kind of back to back on the course. And as soon as we got to the first one, first of all, thank you, Tito's, for pouring me way too many drinks.
That's the one thing that nobody can say about a DBC, a Dickey Broadcasting Company golf tournament tailgate is that we do not deliver the goods.
Yeah, oh my God, do you?
When you go, like, I think we've got a Georgia-Tennessee tailgate coming up in Athens.
Those tailgates get nasty.
I don't even go to them anymore.
It is wide open.
Down here, too, at Marietta Street with that thing, I was like, whoa, I don't even know. No.
After it. We get after it. That's one thing that we do.
And our bosses encourage it.
Yeah, well, that's the thing.
Oh, yeah. I was at one tailgate, and I just had a drink, and Matt goes, Matt Egger.
Yeah.
Does amazing work. He goes, Joe, how many drinks have you had? I was like, oh, this is my first. And he goes, you're going to need to bump those numbers up, buddy.
Seriously, man, we need you to participate, pal.
I wish I would have not, because I had a good time, but there did get to a point where I was having so much fun with Kimmer. First of all, Kimmer is an unbelievable golfer. I'm gonna I figured I got a lot of video. He had this unbelievable eagle. Like we were out on it was Caw. Oh, we were screaming this the whole time. It was great. Every time we got a birdie, we're yelling.
That's awesome. So
but we went and we had this hole, and it was really hard to see the hole because it kind of sloped down, and we were down below the hole. And we had a good drive. I don't remember. Carlos was hitting the ball really well, so it could have been his drive or my drive. We set up perfectly. Kimmer gets up. The rest of us kind of messed up this shot. I think I got to the back of the green, and I don't remember what Pete couldn't hit the ball past his legs. He's so white I couldn't even see the ball when he was standing there. It was like blending in. But all of a sudden Kimmer hits a shot, and I'm like, that's beautiful. Oh, my God. Because I knew it sloped down to the hole. So it landed to the right of the pin and started sloping down, and I was like, oh, that's great. We will go up, and I see a ball at the back, and I'm like, okay, there's mine. I see another ball, and I'm like, that's not Kimmer's. Where's Kimmer's? And picked it up, and sure enough, that was one of Pete's balls, and I'm like, all right, where's Kimmer's? Then we walk down. I go, let me walk to the hole. So I start walking down the hole. I go, I am not touching it. Kimmer, come here, come here, come here. Kimmer, he holed it out from there for a 2. And we all started celebrating. Well, none of us could believe it actually went in. And then Kimmer. So I got a lot of good video of that. But the best video came when I decided I was going to play matchmaker. And I want you to hear what happened. This beautiful woman, her name is Michelle. She was fantastic. She was helping us out with a few drinks here and there. And I said, hey, this is Kimmer, the Kimmer. And she knew who he was.
Nice.
And he came up and I said, Kimmer. I said, he's single, you're single, talk. And here's how this conversation started. Listen to this.
Hi there, you hear about school? Like Peanut? You hear about Peanut?
Yeah, I did. Her name is Chibi.
Chibi? Am I delaying everything?
No, you're good.
No. Wait.
We'll leave you behind. It's fine.
So you work on
I want this for your wedding album.
Oh, God, just, I'm
got upset.
Working here.
He realized we're filming.
And Pete Davis, so we got the whole crew there, and I pulled up everything. Over a Heidi Hog, just not a
Carefully here.
Well, that's my phone number.
That's my phone number.
That's Rockin' Vodka, Rick Nielsen Vodka.
Very last year.
Very
nice to meet you.
Yeah, I'm going to share all this video because he walks up, he hugs her. He was so smooth at this point, like really smooth. And I was really impressed.
Ladies' man, that
he
Kimmer.
is. And at first he comes off as like the cute old guy, and then
gruff,
he just
a little gruff.
Yeah, then he starts like kind of moving in. He gets a nice hug, gets her phone number.
Well, she said she had a pet squirrel, and then I heard him go.
No. So he asked, "Did you hear about Peanut?"
Well, but
squirrel?
before that, she said, "I have a pet squirrel," and he's like, "Did you hear about Peanut? Do you have to run it back?" That's what got that whole conversation going.
Oh, see, I missed that.
Yeah, right. Well, it's a couple Tito's probably helped you miss that.
Listen, I was standing over that ball, and I was looking like I was walking uphill on a flat green. It was bad at one point. Yeah, I couldn't see the ball half the time I was hitting it.
That's funny.
But it was so smooth. Now, here's where the problem happened. I said, hey, this is it. This is good. You got her number. I want you to give her a call, maybe take her out, whatever you need to do. We're not a hole later. He kind of sneaks backwards. And I'm like, where's he going? He's got his phone out.
Circling back.
And I'm like, at this point, Carlos is sitting with me in the car because we're waiting to get up on the tee and hit. And I see him back there, and I'm like, no. Hey, girl, Michelle, hey, it's Kimmer.
He's calling her immediately. You got to wait.
Two holes. He couldn't
wait. That probably ruined it.
Oh, and then he kind of stumbled through it. I wish I would have gotten video of that. I should have. He's like, well, I don't know if she called. I just want to make sure that
the number's right. No,
dude. What are you doing?
Yeah, you can't call that quickly. It looks desperate. You don't want to do that, especially with a lovely lady. Don't do that.
But I expect him to open up today, talking about his eagle, talking about his golf game,
and his game with the ladies. Good Lord.
I hope he gives me an update because he did text me over the weekend asking me for some of the footage and some of the sound, and I sent him some stuff, including his eagle. I sent him that. And I'm hoping that he asked for that, not just because he wanted to remember the day he almost met his, perfect match, but the fact that he's like, hey, I want to keep this for the wedding album, Rhino, like you told me I should. Because I'm hoping it turned into some. She's an absolutely beautiful and smart girl. That kind of scares me that she's that smart because she might, kind of look at Kimberly.
Well, let's hope not. Saturday Night Live went from we can't find anything funny to talk about to realizing, man, there's a lot of funny to talk about. I thought for sure after the election they were going to have a meltdown on Saturday Night Live. They kind of did, but they didn't prepare you for what they were going to turn it into.
On Tuesday, Americans went to the polls and elected Donald Trump to be the next president of the United States.
To many people, including many people watching this show right now, the results were shocking and even horrifying.
Donald Trump, who tried to forcibly overturn the results of the last election, was returned to office by an overwhelming majority.
This is the same Donald Trump who openly called for vengeance against his political enemies.
And now, thanks to the Supreme Court, there are no guardrails.
Nothing to protect the people who are brave enough to speak out against him.
And that is why we at SNL would like to say to Donald Trump, we have been with you all along.
We have never wavered in our support of you, even when others doubted you.
Every single person on this stage believed in you.
Every single person on this stage voted for you.
Because we see ourselves in you. We look at you and think, that's me.
There you go. That's kind of what it went on and on and on. It's so good. I'm so glad that Saturday Night Live feels like they can be funny again because they are brilliant when they're edgy. And they started out just the way you would expect and then turn it just the way that they've always done. I love when Saturday Night Live is funny.
Good for them. But unfortunately for them, the left lost their mind over that skit and was like, I can't even believe you're making a joke out of it. Everything you said at first was front.
That's actually a good thing.
Yeah.
It's good because that means it's funny. Somebody needs to lose their mind.
The people losing their mind, your own party did this to you, by the way, because none of anything they told you was true. You've been lied to.
9 o'clock hour brought to you by Southern Exteriors. Nominate a deserving family for a new roof in their home for the holidays celebration. You nominate the families at southernexteriors.co, southernexteriors.co. For Rhino, Los, and Board Up, Goey Virgin River, the captain of the ship. We appreciate you being here, and we'll ask you to come back tomorrow. Y'all come back now, you hear?
Hey, it's Flounder, and The Kimmer Show is live every afternoon from 3 to 6 p.m.
You don't accidentally misplace money for Ukraine. You don't accidentally